Chill out. Chill out.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom to the nation of Israel and all the cleavers too. We ain't forget about y'all. We're the hopeful elect. This is gonna be a finale of the 3-part series, Pursuing a Spouse. Right? We're getting kind of through the Spirit. You know, the Spirit has led us to another 3-part series. The other 3-part series we did was getting our culture back, and it was called Hellenized Hebrews. Right. And so without further ado, we want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God by the way of his Son, who's an instrument of salvation for the nation of Israel, and who sent his Son to be a high mediator and a high priest for us so that our prayers can be answered. Hey, Brother Yeshai, you can mute your mic real quick.
Shalom.
Right. And
Block it.
you good. And Brother Denal, you can mute your mic real quick.
Slack you.
We got noise going on today. But but you know what I'm saying? Giving all glory and honor to the Most High God, you know what I'm saying? Also, a shalom to everybody that's going to tune in on this live stream. I'm trying to drop something on my Instagram story today. I know we didn't promote this for real, but everybody that's going to tune in on this live stream, if you're already on here, and also if you're going to watch this at a later date, I want to say shalom to you first and foremost, because you could be doing anything, right? It's a summer night or a summer's day whenever you're watching this. You know what I'm saying? You could be in any type of folly or foolishness, but you're getting edified through the Spirit by your brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say shalom to y'all because y'all didn't have to be here. And shalom to everybody that's going to be watching other videos that might not be this video as well. But without further ado, we're going to get into the part 3 season finale, series finale, right? This is not Netflix. This is not Hulu. It's not a season, but a series finale, right, of Pursuing a Spouse. So today, right, is Factual Friday. We usually, you know what I'm saying, go into facts on today. So we're going to try to stay strictly biblical based today and get some guidance from our forefathers on how to be decent and in order when getting a spouse. All right. I think I'm gonna try to.
I was trying to say something, man. I was muted. I forgot.
Go ahead. You could salute in.
Oh yeah. Saluting in, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God. Brother Donal. Just some opening remarks, man. It's been a nice series, man. And we were getting a lot of good feedback. I know people are hitting my DMs saying, you know, I love this series. It's very edifying. I had a few family members comment and say that they were getting edified through the Spirit, man, and just from the information that we're putting out. And that was our main goal, man, was to edify people on this topic, because I know a lot of people are either in this stage in the truth or, you know, have been there. And so, yeah, I just want to say I commend y'all for, you know, taking the time to actually, you know, listen to these videos, because I think each video has been like 2 hours so far, and everybody has watched the totality of every minute. So, you know, of the people that are commenting anyways, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Hey, quick question. When you share a screen, do you go to entire screen or window?
I normally go to window.
All right.
So I can pull up a different window and have it up on the screen with me.
Wait, so I gotta go. Do I have to pull it up first before I?
Yeah, you gotta open another window.
All right.
And Khan, hey, I just want to salute in too, man. Want to say Shabbat Shalom to the nation who honors the Friday, the Saturday, sundown Sabbath, man. I hope you have a great day of rest. I hope you had an amazing prep day. And through the Spirit, Lord willing, the series finale will be edifying once again in spirit and in truth, man. I hope you all gain guidance, because like we said, that's our ultimate goal, is just to edify the people, you know. And I also want to give an extra early shalom to those who honor the lunar Sabbath. think this month is on Tuesday, so early Shabbat Shalom to the lunar Sabbath keepers. But hey, Shalom across the nation to all the law keepers, man. The ones who keep the law, statutes, and commandments and keep the faith.
There was a brother, man. He does the lunar Sabbath, but it might be different, man. He said he followed the crescent moon, and their Sabbath was on yesterday. So
belated
Shabbat Shalom to the crescent moon followers.
Hey, to all the Sabbath keepers, man, whatever Sabbath you keep, may the Most High bless you on your day of rest. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Shalom to the brother Jeremiah too. He's on the screen right now. That's a good brother, man. Good spirit in that brother too. Thanks for fellowshipping with us tonight. I'm trying to figure out how to do this because on my screen I don't see the other window that I pulled up.
You don't see the other window?
Yeah.
What you mean?
The only window I see is the StreamYard window that I'm on.
You on your phone?
On your actual page? I mean on your actual screen, or are you talking about through the app?
Like I went to share screen. I'll show y'all. It says share.
How you gonna show us if you can't share your screen?
Hold on, because it's gonna show up in the lobby first, right?
No,
it'll pop up on the same time.
Well, I'll learn a different time. Can one of y'all share a screen? I think Yeshaya is on his phone. Yeah, so can you share the screen, Denal?
Come.
I'm gonna switch to my tap wop in a second.
All right.
See how easy that was? You can't let this technology beat you, man.
The brother be getting jammed up by the technology, man.
Shalom, Akim, Ashar Shabbat, family. Hey, Shalom and Ashar Shabbat to you. For all the new people in the truth, you might not know any Hebrew, so I'm going to break this down since it's in a different tongue for you. It says, peace, brethren, happy Sabbath or rest day, family. All right. So I'm just doing that because it says it's supposed to have an interpreter. You know what I'm saying? But getting into this lesson, right? First, I want to get Genesis. Not Genesis. What do I want? 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Just to start this lesson out, man.
If you pull it up, I can read it.
Hey, what's the premise of part 3? Are we going into like the betrothed and all of that, or are we still on the preliminary?
Yeah, you can. That's more so along the lines. Today I wanted, since we went through all that other stuff on part 1 and part 2, today I wanted to actually go into what's decent and what's in order when dealing with because the world or the people in the truth nowadays will call it a courting process, but as we know, there's no such thing as courting in the Bible, right? Because Isaac, he didn't court Rebecca. He laid down with her the first day he saw her. You know what I'm saying? There's no courting process. That courting term is like an old English term, I believe, brought from England maybe. And that's how people knighted or courted people. You know what I'm saying? It was a process or whatever. But it's cool to say courting, but we know it's really proving somebody, right? Proving a friend first, as the Bible says. So we try to stick to vernacular and phrases that are in the Bible, right? So that's why.
It's like you. I want to say also, man, that's another part of the liberty that we have in today's time, because a lot of times in the past, like the brother was mentioning, there was no courting process. There was no proving process for real, man, right? Because we had engaged. I mean, what's it called when you got
arranged marriages?
Yeah, arranged. We had arranged marriages and things of that, and I know maybe the man could prove the woman, but now today in today's society, even though woman has liberty to prove the man, right? And so you want to take full advantage of that access to doing so,
Right. And that's nothing new either, you know what I'm saying? Because the Most High God did grant those 3 sisters in the Old Testament because their father had passed and there was no man to be a head over them, they was able to pick somebody out of their own tribe. But the difference today is we don't have our heritage and we don't have our customs. So it's hard for our women to go out here blindly and prove men. They need a male figure to help prove men, because they don't know what men are thinking. They don't know what man is going to be the best fit for them, or to be the best leader in their household. So that's why it's important to nowadays have these kind of courtships and have elders. If you don't have any father figures or men in your family that's in the truth, or men in general, they don't even have to be in the truth. You know what I'm saying? But it's good that people put that in place to govern the people. But is that law? Are you bound to a courtship? No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? So if the spirit is leading you to go faster or slower, you know what I'm saying, you go with the spirit, but stay in prayer and fasting through that process. Let's read this real quick.
This is 1 Corinthians 14:40, and it says, "Let all things be done decently and in order."
Right? So we're going to get decent and in order, right? Brothers on your screen, when we took wives, we tried to be as decent and in order as possible. Now, since we're living in the year 2000, you know what I'm saying? It's only so much we could do. Yes, we could have did some things better, but looking back on it, you know what I'm saying? Brothers was pretty much decent and in order, right? And if we were out of order, we confessed our faults and we fixed that. You know what I'm saying? We manned up and we made sure it was in order. You know what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do today, get Romans 15:4 real quick. What we're gonna do today is Romans 15:4 in a nutshell.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse number 4. It says, "For whatsoever things were..."
Salakia. Somebody's saying your mic sounds bad. So if Ashton could read.
My mic sound bad?
Yeah, it's just like the you know how I sounded kind of echoey?
That's how I sound right now?
It's a little staticky.
Like the brother said, and it's a learning process. We're relearning our heritage that we lost, right? Because we did lose our heritage. The Most High God says in Jeremiah 17:4, He shall discontinue us from our heritage, right? Because we kindled a fire in His anger. So we lost that hair. We was cut off. It's not even that we lost it. We was cut off. You know what I'm saying? So that's almost worse than losing it, because hey, when you cut off by the Most High God, there's no way you can find that thing back unless He give it back to you. And through His grace and mercy, through His Son, we've been offered our heritage back, and now we're trying to get back in order. It's not going to be perfect overnight, like the brother is saying, but you know what I'm saying, we're striving. So let's read this, Romans 15:4.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
For our
learning.
Right.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
So our patience and our comforts come from what?
The scriptures.
Right. And we're going to have hope through the scriptures. That's why it's important to read, because the only way you know who Christ is if you read. The only way you know there's a God is if you read. The only way you know there's an enemy is if you read. The only way you know God has a chosen people is if you read. The only way you know what's good and what's bad for your health is if you read, right? So we get our patience, right? And we get our comfort through the scriptures. What does that sound like? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, right? That rod and that staff going to teach us to be patient. That rod and that staff is going to lead us to where we need to be guided to. That rod and that staff, right, is going to comfort us because it's going to give us structure. It's going to give us law. We're not going to be in chaos and darkness, right? So today we're going to get some learning and learn how to be patient during this process sometimes, and be comforted that we will know what to do when pursuing a spouse. All right. So the first place I want to go to is Deuteronomy 22. Right. We got to break down Deuteronomy 22 just because, hey, look, that's a chief place to go in the Bible when it comes to different situations regarding a man and a woman. Scroll down. It's all the way towards the bottom. I think like, no, go up like 18, might be 15. 15, go to 15. Scroll up 12.
We can go into her.
Yeah. So let's start at verse 13, right? We're gonna break this down.
This what you wanted?
Yeah, we'll start at 13. We're gonna touch on a little bit of all of it, right? We'll try to move fast through the spirit. It says, if any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, right? Read verse 14, please.
And give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Right? Keep reading. Well, let me break that down for y'all. So here we have somebody that eyed out a woman, right? And made that woman his wife, took her to a wife, meaning they agreed upon what they were doing and they lied down together and consummated the marriage. We could see this mirroring what happened in the wilderness, right? Because we married the Most High in the wilderness, right? When we made the vow before the Most High God, we sung a new song, and Moses sprinkled the blood on us, right? When he was sprinkling the blood, that was consummating our covenant, right? So when you have a marriage, you consummate the covenant. Now, I know scientifically they say every single time that you go into a lady, right, or every time there's intercourse, there's a little bit of blood exchange. That's that sealing of the covenant, right? And man and woman. So that's why the Most High God says we were espoused to him in the wilderness, because that's where we made the covenant, right? Our forefathers made that covenant with the Most High God. That's why we're the bride of Christ. That's why we're the bride of the Most High. All right. Let's keep reading verse 15.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto
right, so
the
let's stop
elders.
right here. Right. So let's stop right here and break this down. So verse 14 says that he took a wife. I mean, verse 13 says he took a wife. Verse 14 says he found occasion, he found a reason, right, to speak against her, right? To belittle her or put her down, right? So modern day, that would be like somebody proposing to somebody, finding out that she lied to you, and you're like, man, she a this, she a that. Man, I'm going to get a divorce, man. She not who she say she was, right? And brought an evil name upon this girl. All right. Kind of like that whole beef between who's the dude? Kevin Gates, right? Kevin Gates and Draka. He made a song about Draka, whatever her name is, right? And brought occasion against her and put an evil name on her. So now people are going back and forth on whose side is whose and who's telling the truth and why did this person do that? Why did person do that? Right? But this person's occasion is that he found her not a maid. So a maid was somebody that was of age, right? Also for referred to as a virgin in the Bible, and they were of age to marry, and they were supposed to have all their purity. You know what I'm saying? So when you go into her, you're gonna notice that, okay, if she's a virgin, right? Meaning if she's pure or she's not.
Also,
right?
also, there'd be instances where concerning I found her not a maid, it could also mean like you found her how can I put this? You found her not to your liking, if that makes sense.
Right. She wasn't a lady. She wasn't properly trained or brought up. She wasn't doing wifely duties.
Or she didn't satisfy you enough.
Right. So verse 15.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
Right. So there was proof back in the day. Back in the day, you had proof. You had, like, if you buy a car, you're going to have proof, license and registration, insurance. You're going to have proof, a receipt of transactions, right? You and the dealership are going to have proof. So if anybody tries to renege or say that this happened with the car or this happened with the car or this was the price we agreed on, everybody has a receipt. right? So back then, when you had a marriage, right, you had receipts because it was a transaction. You were unifying two families, and also you were gaining a possession or you were losing a possession, right? If you were the father, you were losing a possession. If you were the man that was marrying, you were gaining a possession. So pursuing a spouse, man, if we're trying to pursue a spouse today, understand that even though we're living in 2022, right, you're taking on a possession as a man. And to the woman, you are going to be somebody's possession, right? And that's not to belittle anybody's stance, if point of view. If you're a man, look, you're gaining a possession. That's a lot. You just like if you were to get a dog, not trying to say a woman is a dog, but it's a lot of responsibility. You have to make sure that dog eats. You have to make sure that dog is healthy. Take it to the vet. Give it medicine when it needs it. Give it healthy food, right? Same thing with the spouse. You're taking into a big responsibility. You gotta feed. You gotta make sure there's food on the table that she could cook, right? You gotta make sure that her mental is always good because it says they're a weaker vessel. They're emotional creatures. You got to make sure that she's not only happy, but she's learning about the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? You're taking in a possession. You got to teach her how you got to agree in one mind because you're going to be, lack of better words, you're going to be her head. You're going to be over her. Now, if you're a woman and you have to know that you're a possession, you got to understand that, hey, look, I'm going to be his. I'm not my own. I'm his, right? 1 Corinthians 11 or 1 Corinthians 11 says what? It says that the head of man is Christ and the head of the head of a woman is the man. So you're going to be a possession. Now, that's not to belittle your Salakia. Excuse me. That's not to belittle your position either, because take it for an example. If you play sports, right, and you get a scholarship, somebody just paid for you to play for them. You're a possession of that school, right? But you're still happy, right? You're happy you got that scholarship because not everybody gets chosen. Not everybody gets to get that scholarship, just like this. So not every wife gets chosen. Not every woman gets to be a wife, right? And you've been chosen to bring forth child, to be married and be in a union. So guess what? Take it like people take that scholarship, but a lot comes with that. When you get for example, a track scholarship or a basketball scholarship or a football scholarship, if you want to keep that scholarship, you have to put the work in, right? But Salakia.
Man, especially and just to give a fun fact, man. Where it says a token of the damsel's virginity, since it is Factual Friday, it was a custom back then, man, that when you consummate a marriage to prove that somebody was a virgin, right? You would see the blood on the sheets, right? And you can even see this custom in again, the series of Game of Thrones.
Salakia, I can't for some reason it won't let me add this comment, but can you add this comment? Khan.
Is a token of the damsel's virginity the cloth that she has bled on from consummation? Khan, right? That's the tokens of the damsel's virginity, proof that she was a virgin, right? Because some people like to get over on folks and say, hey, my daughter's a virgin, just to get her out the house, and knowing that your daughter has laid with somebody. Another fun fact on this Factual Friday, right? So right here on 15, anytime you read the Bible and you read in and the words look nice and consistent, and they get right here to where it's italicized or slanted for an elementary level way of understanding it, slanted, italicized. These words were inserted into the Bible for better understanding. So, but you can get a clear understanding even if these words are not italicized and even if their words are not there, right? So when we read it, then shall the fathers of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gates, right? And again, what does this mean? It's bringing forth the proof that she was a virgin when her parents gave her over to this man.
Right. So that's why I was saying it's like a transaction. You buy a car, you're going to have the proof and the receipt, right? In case you want to return it. Here we have an instance of a man trying to return what he bought because he said she wasn't a maid. She wasn't pure when I found her. Somebody had already laid with her. So that's why the father had to keep that receipt and give the sheets, right, that she bled on at their marriage. right? To prove that, yes, she was a maid, you're lying on my daughter, right? Let's read verse 16.
Verse 16, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her.
Right? So the damsel's father says to the elders, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with my wife, my daughter, and he's trying to give her back, right? He's just finding any reason they had an argument or whatever, and he's trying to give her back. So pursuing a spouse, right? If we're thinking about ourselves in 2022, let's make sure before we get a wife, because we went over this the other day. The heart is deceitfully wicked. Who can know it, right? A lot of times, like this brother here in verse 13, we think with our flesh. And a lot of times we lay down with people and we think in our heart that we love them until we lay down with them. We wake up in the morning and we hate them, right? Like the brother, like David's son did. When David's son laid with his sister, and what happened? When they were done, he said, get out the room. Depart from me. He was trying to, divorce her. And she said, hey, look, we already did something bad, but if you do this, that's going to be even worse. All right. You're going to add sin to sin. So make sure that it's not your lust that's causing you to lay down with these people, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to give your wife back, right? Also for the women, I know we're getting our heritage back, and a lot of us have already lost our virginities. But as you're in this truth, man, practice celibacy, practice chastisement, practice being a maid. You know what I'm saying? Don't give in to fornication. Don't give in to your flesh, right? Save yourself from now on for your husband, right? The next time you lay with somebody, I don't care if you believe sex is marriage or not. The next time you lay with somebody, it needs to be your husband, and he needs to know that he's going to be your husband and you're going to be his wife, right?
Right.
Let's keep reading.
You gotta put your mindset in the fact, like the brother said, that you are a virgin, right? Especially when we come into this truth, because when we come into this truth, you know what? Now we new creatures, you know what I'm saying? And if we're new creatures, that old man's put away, you putting on that new man, you becoming a virgin again, and you need to treat yourself as such, right? Take care of your body as such, right? This is verse 17. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. Right? That's that
so,
cloth.
Hey, look.
I think brother Nadon mentioned that's that cloth, right? Keep reading.
Right, that's that cloth. Let's scroll down. Let's go down some more. Let's get another example of taking a woman. Right, let's go to verse 22.
Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Right. So this is just talking about adulterers, right? If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, guess what? They're both gonna die. Now, though it tarry, it's gonna just wait for it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying Salakia, it's a sister, not a brother.
Khan, I was gonna say that too.
Salakia, my apologies. Verse 23.
Yeah, Khan.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband.
What does betrothed mean, right? Betrothed means like engaged or promised to. So modern day today, you have people make a big scene about the engagement. Oh, look at the engagement ring. Did you see the proposal? It was a beautiful proposal, right? So that would be being betrothed, meaning everybody knows you're off the market. Everybody knows that you're soon to be married, if not married already, because it says unto a husband, right? So that means you already have a husband, even though you're not quite consummated yet. It says if a damsel that is a virgin, meaning of age to be married, right, be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, right? Let's read verse 24.
Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. the damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he has humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Right. So if you tell, and look, if you guys are courting or if you guys are talking seriously and you're trying to play the field, a lot of our women today play the field. And the truth, try to see how many kings and priests you can have in your DMs or on your phone. Guess what? Women back in the day used to die for that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're promised, if you're promising yourself, that's another reason why we need men back in our lives, right? We need to start having righteous families because our women today don't have structure on how to properly handle a situation on pursuing a spouse, right? For example, if we take Ruth, like we went into Ruth yesterday, Ruth had a mother-in-law that was able to teach her, right? Like Timothy says, let the older women teach the younger women. She had somebody to tell her what position to be in and how to be decent and in order. But nowadays, we don't have those older women. Nowadays, we don't have those dads. We don't have those uncles or those older brothers to lead our women to say, hey, look, you shouldn't be playing around with all these men, right? Nowadays, there was a meme or a TikTok video going on, and the dude was asking girls how they felt about marriage. Dang, I wish we had that video so we could show it. Just to show the mindset of our people. And a lot of the women was like, nah, I don't do exclusives. I don't do titles. I don't do X, Y, and Z because our sisters are so used to playing the field now that they can't ever decide or choose, right, who's right for them. And when they do, they end up hurting their feelings. And then the pain and suffering goes on and on and on. So the man starts being wicked, right? Because he's hurt. So that's why you had to kill both of them, right?
I would say also, man, and that was a way to keep a lot of folly out of Israel, out of the nation, right? Because like the brother was saying, it eliminated, like today, people might entertain folks, right? Girls might entertain guys when they're dating, and guys might entertain women, right? This eliminated that because why? We see through the scriptures that it says, nothing can deter a jealous man, right? Nothing beats the jealousy of a woman, right? We see these things, and that just cut a lot of that folly out, man, to where if you were promised to somebody, right? If you were dating somebody or, was taking somebody serious and somebody else showed some interest, right? It was on you. It's on you, right? Because if you entertain somebody, now you're vulnerable to get stoned, right? If somebody tries to push up on you, cat call you, this, that, and the third, and you don't say nothing, and you got caught in this act, now you get stoned too, because you were entertaining them. And what people don't want to admit that is, yes, entertaining is cheating according to the Bible. If you entertain somebody and you're with somebody, right, you're betrothed to somebody, that is cheating. How do we know that? Because we see right here in the law, if you entertain somebody while you're promising somebody or you're dealing with somebody, right, you get stoned.
Can you get 1 Corinthians 10 and 23 and another tab? No, stay right here. Stay here, but open up another tab. And I want one of y'all to pin the brother's comment to the screen real quick. So the brother said, 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. So the brother said, brothers be playing the field too, looking at the outward appearance of these sisters and trying to find the baddest sister over providing or over proving their character, right? So a lot of men, like the brother said, they get caught playing the field too. And we don't have any guidance. If you read Salakia, Proverbs 31, I know a lot of women read Proverbs 31, but that was really a mom talking to her son, because our moms used to teach us what to look for in a wife, right? Not our dads, but our moms, because they know what it takes to be a righteous woman. Our dad don't know what it takes to be a righteous woman, but our moms do. And because of that, we weren't out here just playing the field, giving it up to anybody that looked good. We understood wisdom like in Sirach. We understood wisdom like in Proverbs and Psalms, when it tells us what? Not to look at a woman a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of brothers be like, we can't play the field. We can have multiple wives, this, that, and the third. But look, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient, right? So you can put it on the screen real quick so we can read it in that other tab. Right, read that real quick.
1 Corinthians 10 and 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
Right, meaning you don't have to do it. It's not expedient, meaning it's not going to
it's not good for you.
Right, it's not going to expedite your salvation. It's not going to expedite. It's going to actually do the work, the opposite, right?
It's not beneficial.
Right?
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
Right, so they don't edify or build up or strengthen your relationship with the Most High God or with the nation, right? All that does.
Or not smart for you to do.
Right, it's not smart.
King's English, edify not. When you edify, right, you're trying to make somebody smarter. Some things are not smart for you to do, right?
It's talking about not smart or wise. That's a mighty point. Way to break that down. You know what I'm saying? Your teacher skills just went from here to here. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 22. Now that was a good way to break it down, though. Let's go to 25.
We was at 25, I thought. But if a man,
Oh, we were?
Yeah. I think, never mind. We weren't. Yeah. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Now, trying to keep this 2022, you know what I'm saying? We know there are people getting raped, and we already know for a fact that's not of God. But also it says force her and lie with her, right? I want to tell you guys, you fellas out there, if a girl say no, stop trying to force your way onto her through words, DMs, comments, whatever. If you're annoying that we all know when a girl's annoyed with us, right? Some brothers don't, but don't force your way into her life, because I know for a fact, this is a little bit off script, but I know for a fact there's women in the world that'll just say yes because they're annoyed with a brother. You know what I'm saying? They'll just say yes to a multitude of things and just get it behind them because he was annoying. He was annoying me, right? Because brothers kept forcing themselves on you. You don't want to do that and end up in a situation that might be for your ruin, right? Or be with somebody that doesn't love you. So don't force yourself on these women. You know what I'm saying? If they say no, keep it pushing. The Most High God got somebody else for you when pursuing a spouse.
Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Right. So guess what? That's just like killing somebody, committing murder, right?
And what he's saying right here is like, it's like a man rising up against his neighbor, killing him, and then charging the dead man for sin too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. And that's the same thing if somebody is raped, the rape victim isn't held accountable for none of the sin, right? Only the man.
Salakia. Hey, is my mic still blurry?
You good. It's a little staticky, but it's clear.
I'm finna jump on the uter.
All right,
let's jump down to let's go to verse 28.
Verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then...
Right, so let's break that down. This is talking about if a man finds a woman, a damsel, right? Like something you might have heard, damsel in distress, a woman in distress. If a man find a woman that is a virgin of age to marry and is pure, which is not promised to somebody, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, right? Let's verse 29.
I want to make a quick point too, right? A lot of people will go here that scoff at the Bible and say, see there, your Bible permits rape and whatnot, right? And I want to point out the difference between what rape is, right? When you go here and it says lay hold on her, right? This isn't a forcible thing, right? Whenever you are about to lay with any woman, right, you lay hold on her. She might lay hold on you too, right? That's just what happens when you're intimate, right? But this is not rape. Why? Because if we go a few verses up, it talks about rape. And when it talks about rape, what's the verbiage that's used, right? And the man forced her, right, and lie with her, right? That's rape. But when it says lay hold on her and lie with her and they be found, right, it's just talking about intimacy. I could go to the blue letter and to the concordance and show you that it just means intimacy, right? But for saving time, man, that's the difference, man. Because I know there's several people that will scoff at the Bible and say that it promotes rape when it doesn't, right?
Because
it's the difference. If you just read a few verses up, it talks about rape, right? So you know this is talking about a different thing.
Right, because this in Deuteronomy 22, it's going through a multiple situations, right? So each situation is different. So if we just talked about rape, we got to know that this is not talking about rape, and we'll find that out if we read verse 29, right?
Come. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife.
And she shall be what?
She shall be his wife.
Right. So if you rape somebody, they're not going to become your wife, dude. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we know it's not talking about rape right there. But this right here is a good example of a man paying a dowry, right? Giving the father a transaction, whether that be money or labor or well wishes, right? Because some fathers in the Bible said, hey, look, you can have my daughter, you just can't marry anybody else. That would be a form of a dowry. Some fathers said, hey, look, you got to work for me. Some fathers said, hey, look, she's worth this much.
Can I get a precept?
Con, you can.
It's in Exodus. I don't know if you had this one written down or not. It's pretty much saying the same thing, just a different type of way. But I wanted to point out something.
Go ahead. And you know, when pursuing a spouse, y'all, you got to understand it's a transaction. So you got to honor that woman's family, right? Men, you have to honor that woman's family, whether they're in the truth or not. Talk to that woman's family. Let them know that their daughter or their sister or their niece is going to be in good hands, right? That's going to save you in the long run. That's how you be decent and in order, right? They don't have to be in the truth. Just do what's decent and in order.
Con, man, because we intermingle with a lot of nations, man, and you see that we still acted decently in order, right? Even when Moses and his stepfather Jethro, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if they're in the truth or not. Like the brother said, you got to make sure you're doing things decent and in order. If not, you become a thief. You become a thief because you're taking a possession, right, from somebody else, because that possession was to her father, right? If you just steal that daughter, his daughter away, you're stealing his possession. You become a thief. Now you become, people can bring charges up on you, right? But this is Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16. And I brought this up just to make a point, right? And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife, right? And I want to make a point right here on this word entice, right? Because a lot of sisters will get beguiled, right? Or entice to have sex with somebody, right? And to marry somebody. And then after it happens, they have second thoughts. After it happens, you know what I'm saying? Well, everything was moving too fast. I didn't know what was happening. This, that, and the third, right? Right here, it says, if a man entices you, right? He might have good wordplay, right? He might seduce you, this, that, and the third. And that's that. And he gotta fight his own salvation with fear and trembling. But if he entices you in any way and you lay with him, right? That's why we talked about self-accountability and self-discipline, right? You shouldn't let nobody entice you to sleep with you unless you're ready. And this just shows
Salakia, that's also why I was saying, women, if you have a father figure or a male figure in your family, make sure that they're in your life when you're trying to decide who you want. Because guess what? These men, like the brother said, got good wordplay. They know their way around the Bible. They know some prophecies, right? They know how to talk to a woman. A lot of them got mouthpieces on you and will entice you to be put in a situation that you don't want to be in, right? But go ahead.
But yeah, like the brother was saying, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But that just shows you the type of mindset our people was in back in the day, right? We already touched on entertaining other people outside of your relationship, right? We wasn't doing that. Why? Because there was consequences for that. Also, right, women weren't just so ditzy in the mind. Women weren't so gullible in the mind back then, right? Because they understood this principle right here. If he entices me and I lay down, I can't take that back, right? I'm going to be his wife.
Right.
Nowadays, now our women start to act ditzy and gullible, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what that meant. Are you serious? Are we you know what I'm saying? And it eliminated all that folly and misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying?
That's a powerful point, because our women love making excuses, but the Bible don't make no excuses. It says that the man's over the woman, so there's short leeway for women, right? You can't go to the Most High God and say he enticed me, because guess what? It says if a man entice you, right, you still got to be his wife. That's the will of the Most High God. You got to understand, everything that we go through, the ups and the downs, is the will of the Most High God. And sometimes the man might entice you, and you felt it some type of way, but the Most High God said, guess what? I wanted you in that union. I got two quick examples real quick, right? I gave counsel to two women before, right?
You want to answer this question real quick?
Go ahead. How do you get that kind of counsel when the father isn't in the scriptures, right? And to answer that, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have a father in the truth, but every father, right, whether they're in your life or not, if you go to your father, guess what? He's going to want the best for his daughter. It could be a deadbeat dad, but I'll guarantee you he's going to want the best for your father, and he's going to respect the fact that you're coming to him, right? But even if he's not in the scriptures and he's not wise as far as biblical knowledge, he will still give you wisdom, right? In Job 32 and I want to say 6 or 7, it talks about wisdom, multitude of days and years speak wisdom, right? So guess what? Even if he's not in the truth for real, he can still give you advice on how to decipher what man you should let into your life for a lifetime. He's gonna give you good advice because he knows what kind of man he was.
Con, if I may add also to the sister, right? Not to sound cliche or anything, but we also read at the beginning of this video, everything that written aforetime was for our learning, right? So if you might not have a father figure, you can always go to the scriptures that did what, like the brother said, gave us comfort, right? Because we can go to the scriptures and read what was aforetime for our learning, and we can see the mistakes that our forefathers and our foremothers made in the same situations that we go through. Right. Also, I want to point out, if you are seeking counsel from people that are learned in the scriptures and this and the third, don't be afraid to reach out to your Israelite community, right? Your nation, right? Don't be afraid to send some brothers DMs. I know all three of us are open to give counsel. I have a father that's in the truth. He's in his 60s. He has some wisdom, right? If you want to get in touch with him, you know what I'm saying, because he's gonna give you his pure intentions, right? And cold cut to the point, hey, you should leave him alone, this, that, and the third. And I know
Lucky, can y'all keep that question up there on the screen?
And all three of us brothers, I know if you come to us for counsel, man, we're gonna tell you how it is. Just like the sisters that have been coming to us for advice and that as well.
Kind of like the brother said too, or go to a sister that is already married. She might be able to give you advice as well. But I still say go to a male, because men know men. You know what I'm saying? A man's gonna know. Like, I know some sisters, they might have lucked up and they first try, they got a great man. They don't know what it's like to have to deal because it's really kind of like in 2022, you don't know what you're getting when it comes to a wife or a husband sometimes, because a lot of people can fake the funk, right? Can you Yeshaya, you had something to add? I saw you put your finger up.
Am I muted?
Nah.
Oh, Con. Nah, I was y'all edified, so
Ashton, you can go to that other tab. Salaki Denal, you can go to that other tab while this question still on the screen. Go to Job 8:8. We'll get some precepts for the sister, in case your father is not in the scriptures. Because what the brother Denal said was mighty. That's a mighty point. The things written aforetime, right? Let's read this.
For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search the things of their fathers.
What are you reading?
Job 8 and 8.
Right. You added your own words and stuff, ain't it?
No, for inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
To the search of their fathers, right? So the brother Denal made a mighty point. Our forefathers are in his Bible as well, and they're of the former age. So a lot of times we can get edification from how our fathers in the Bible, right, took hold of stuff. And once we finish with Deuteronomy 22, we're gonna touch on all those things, right?
Can I get a precept real quick?
But like I said, even if your father is not as versed in the scriptures, right? Even if your father is not as versed in the scriptures, trust me, he got some wisdom for you. He's seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? If he's of age and he's an adult, he's seen a lot. He's had a lot of homeboys. He's had a lot of good friends, a lot of bad friends. He's seen friends mess with women, so he knows what a man's thinking. So you can still get his wisdom on that. He is your father, right?
Man, and so this is Matthew chapter 23, and I'm gonna start at verse number 9, right? And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your father which is in heaven, right? So we all got a father that's learned in these scriptures, right? We'll see, right? Verse number 8. But be ye not called rabbi, which just means teacher or master, right? For one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren, right? And Christ is our master teacher, right? And we have a heavenly father, and we know that Christ came in the volume of the book. So if we want to go to our father, right, for anything, we can go to the volume of the book and sort these things out, right? And get counsel that way. But the thing about that is you have to do your part and search these scriptures diligently, right? So you know for a fact that you're gonna be dwelling with a godly man, one that you know to keep the commandments, right?
Hey, I want to add to that because we literally went over that on Wednesday, doing your part of what it takes to pursue a spouse, right? You got to prove yourself first before you start proving someone else. So just like brothers elaborating on, I'm just piggybacking off of everything they're saying. To the sister that's asking that questions about the father, you know, my father's not in the scriptures. Or you might have some sisters that say, well, my mother's not in the scriptures, you know, like the brothers is saying, hey, go back to the word. This is how you prove yourself first, because everything that you read in this text, if you agree with it, you know what I'm saying, you'll never go wrong. You can never be beguiled, like the brothers is saying. Like how women be beguiled easily today, that's because they're not actually talking to their true father enough. That's the Most High. So if you don't talk to the Most High enough, he can't give you that wisdom that you need to understand what did I need to do in this situation. You know what I'm saying? So if you turn to your true father, go to him for the edification, get the wisdom, forsake not the law of your mother, hey, you will never go wrong, even if your earthly parents aren't actually, you know what I'm saying, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments.
Bro, he says, ye simple ones, how long will you love simplicity, right? Because you're simple without this wisdom of the Bible, right? You're so simple enough to be beguiled to sleeping with a man that doesn't love you. How can you end up with a man, sleeping with a man that doesn't love you and you didn't know, right? You should know these things. You shouldn't be putting yourself in a position to be simple enough to be enticed. That's why we talked about self-discipline and self-accountability. You have to, it doesn't, I know the man is supposed to leave and that's all fine and dandy, but you as a woman, especially now today, you have the liberty to say no when it comes to that stuff, right? You talking to somebody, he getting a little too intimate, he start kissing on you, this, that, and the third, right? And you know, y'all about to whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Right. You have the voice to say, no, we're not going there. I think it's time for me to leave. Right?
You can't be simple. You can't be simple and say, well, he knows his scriptures. He wouldn't be doing anything that's not lawful and just go with the flow, right? You can't be simple and say, well, he did take me to Isaiah chapter 4 and said multiple wives are gonna, you know, a lot of women gonna be clinging to men, right? You didn't even get the context or anything. You just think this man know how to break down priests. That's why we tell sisters all the time, be in your word, study your word, watch lessons so that nobody can beguile you, right? Or entice you. Go ahead, Yeshaya.
I just want to make 2 quick points as well. One of them is going to be a sidebar off road, but one of them is going to be right with what you just said. You literally have to understand that brothers will beguile you by knowing breakdowns. So you have to understand when we're saying get in the word, even if maybe you don't know exactly what to read and where to go. That's why you have brothers or sisters out here willing to help you. Because there's brothers and sisters out here in their word enough to know that, hey, I can pass this information along to somebody else. So maybe you yourself are trying to read, you're trying to understand the prophecies, you're trying to understand certain scriptures in the text. You have to understand that if you can't get that mind to grasp the idea of what the scriptures are saying, what the prophets are saying, what the Most High is saying, reach out. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is reach out to brothers and sisters. That's why, Salaki, I did put our social media information just in case anyone wants to contact us. We also have the page information as well. But reach out. There are sisters that, you know what I'm saying, you can get in contact with. The other sidebar I want to add is that
before you go to that sidebar, I want to say something just to close that out. I didn't want to I don't want to say that, you know what I'm saying, multiple wives is bad, because it's not. We wouldn't have a nation without multiple wives. When I brought that point out, I was trying to say you got to be well versed, because a lot of women think that the whole Bible is filled with multiple wives, which it is, but they don't ever have any accounts of women that were only the one wife, right? They don't know that that's a possibility. And a lot of men today will entice women to get what they want because women don't know the Bible.
And that was going right into my other point. Women and brothers got to understand this too, bro. It is okay if a woman does not want to be a sister wife, right? It is okay if a woman doesn't want to be a sister wife. That's fine. Different strokes for different folks, you know. Long as you understand that as a man, if you want multiple women and you have that establishment with your first wife, then go find a woman who wants to be that. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay, bro, if a sister doesn't want to be a second wife or a sister wife. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're going to make her your first wife, but you're telling her, you know, I want multiple women. You got to understand, everybody's going to feel indifferently. Brothers can't be sitting up here starting to change their mindset about a sister just because, oh, she doesn't want to be a sister wife. She doesn't want a sister wife. Now our brothers went from trying to edify her. Now all they're trying to do is rebuke her and scoff her. Now they're trying to take you to Isaiah 4:1. Now they're trying to talk to you about Israel.
You're going to need me later on.
You're going to need me later on. Now they're going to take you to Israel, you know what I'm saying, being brought forth by more than one woman. I mean, like the brother was saying, multiple wives is lawful. So there's going to be brothers who want them and brothers who don't. But not every brother who wants it needs it. And there's going to be brothers who actually can, you know what I'm saying, spiritually and physically afford to have that. But it's okay if a woman doesn't want to be a sister wife. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand that.
Before you go, Denal, can you read, or Yeshai, can you read verse 25 real quick?
Verse number 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her.
So check this out. That force could be rape, or, you know what I'm saying, going to this verse a different way in modern terms, right? You could force your way into having somebody that's you know you're OT only, right? But you're gonna force somebody that believes in the whole Bible to be your wife by saying, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna force your way on her, or you know she doesn't want to be a sister wife. So you're gonna force yourself on her, so she's your wife now and she has to deal with that. Right.
I wouldn't even compare that to be the same, because that goes with enticing, bro.
It does go with enticing, but at
this force is punishable by death.
Right.
That would be punishable by death.
Listen. Just bear with me real quick, because when I'm saying force, like for example, like the brothers, what the brother Yeshai just said, right? She already conveyed to you that she doesn't want to be a sister wife. She feels that down in her heart. But when I say force, I mean you're consistently at her, consistently beating her down till she becomes weak, right? And she says, "Well, I'll do it," right? You might not die physically, but you're gonna die spiritually in that house. You're gonna die mentally in that house, because guess what? If she didn't want to be a sister wife, she's not ready for what's a household. You know what I'm saying? With sister wives, that's gonna be a living hell.
And if I may add, to make a halfway point between enticing and forcing, manipulation, you know, because that is right there could be a form of true scriptural manipulation by brothers who, when women don't say they don't want to be a sister wife, now they're literally manipulating you into saying, you're right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and it is a lawful thing, but we've seen situations where that has happened. Right. And we just want people to be aware and brothers to understand that, man, look, if a woman doesn't want to be a sister wife, then go find a woman who wants that, because there's plenty of women out here
who are more than willing to be sister wives. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of women out here who don't want to be a sister wife.
Right. And
I was just making that.
For all my brothers out there that want sister wives, hey, look, there's a lot of women that are single moms, and they, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of the field for you. You know what I'm saying? Not throwing shade on nobody, because a lot of these single moms are great, virtuous women in the truth. You know what I'm saying? But hey, look, if you want a multiple wife, go to somebody that wants to be one. You don't try to trick her into being a multiple wife, right? Go ahead, Denal.
No, I was just trying to make the clarity just for safe keeps purposes, so nobody can say, oh well, I watched the Hopeful Elect and they said, well, somebody forced me to believe their doctrine and marry them. I can be put away from them as if they rape me, and that's not what we're trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I was just trying to go into it a different way. But
I did have one point about what you guys were talking about, though.
All right, the brother. All right, after that, let's put the brother's comment on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to respond to.
But I was gonna say, concerning the multiple wives thing, man. I've had females reach out to me, and they'll be like, you got any scriptures against polygyny, this, that, and the third? And I always tell them the same thing. There is no scriptures against polygyny, right? Your best bet is to just let people know out front, hey, I understand polygyny is lawful. I'm just not down for it, right? And you're within your right to go ahead and say that, right? Gird up your loins like a woman and make your point be known, right? You have the liberty to do so, especially in 2022, right? You have the liberty to prove and to allow things, right? But you have to be, you have to have your wits about you and be able to have a standard for yourself. And just like where there's no law, there's no sin, right? There's no sin in you saying that you don't want to be a part of that when you have the choice to. Just like there's no sin in a brother enticing you, right? He might entice you, but you got to stick to your ones.
Right. And so powerful what the brother just said. There's no scripture against polygyny, because without polygyny, we wouldn't have a nation. And there's no scripture against you not wanting polygyny. You know what I'm saying? So every man got to be his own man. Every woman got to be her own woman. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but you got to know for yourself. That's why it says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Can we add the brother's comment?
Which one?
Add the first one.
Khan, that's the one. It says, I real life just feel like Babylon, not the place for sister wives. Maybe unnecessary comment. Apologies if so, right? So the brother's very humble and very meek. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Here, we completely open. And like the brother said, hey, look, we went into it. All things are lawful, but all things aren't expedient. The mind frame and the mindset that our sisters are in today, there's some outliers that, you know what I'm saying, could deal with sister wives, right? Because
anomalies.
Right. If we thinking about it, we have in the world, there's multiple baby moms, and a lot of these baby moms might get along with other baby moms. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the same thing. Also, there's a lot of women in the world that get cheated on and still stay with their man, right? They'll love their man through thick and thin. Doesn't matter if they cheat or I know he's cheating, girl, and they still stay. So that mindset is in some of our women, but you know what I'm saying? Because we don't have father figures in everybody's home or a male figure to help guide these women, and because they have that independent mentality, and because they're some of our women are very toxic, coming into the truth, I would have to agree with the brother. In Babylon, it might not be expedient in all cases to get a sister wife.
Hey, can I pull a precept real quick? Go to the book of, I'm gonna take a different approach. Go to the book of Jeremiah for me, chapter 29, start at verse number 1. Right? Because
we're done with Deuteronomy 22. If you want, you can read the rest of the situations. But the last point I wanted to make in Deuteronomy 22 is that keep in mind you had to pay the father if you took a wife now, because that's somebody's possession. All right, and we went over that. But go ahead.
To the brother Jeremiah, you know what I'm saying? Salaki, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm still working to get fluent in Hebrew, but I definitely see the spectrum of that, because like I said, I'm not against polygyny because it is biblical. At the same time, I'm not out here avidly looking for, you know what I'm saying, a sister wife. It just ain't expedient for me, you know what I'm saying, in my situation. However, I'm not anti-polygyny because, like we said, it is biblical. So the thing I want to make a point of that is that we can't mix the world with the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna bring an example of why. It's like trying to mix water and oil. We've been in the world so long, we see how the world acts. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much a sense of now we have a worldly mindset on what brothers do in the truth. If brothers in the truth are actually moving in righteousness, it can be expedient for them. That's between them and the Most High, their discernment, their household. So it can be expedient for them to possibly have more than one wife, because
Some
it's like
brothers
mixing water and oil.
Some brothers got 6-figure jobs and all different type of stuff.
Con,
It's
you can go
crazy,
to
bro.
29 and 1.
You said what, Jeremiah? What?
29 and 1.
29 and 1. It's
Yeah,
crazy
start at
though,
verse number
because
1.
it's crazy because you know when you come into this truth, it's always like, man, we trying to get back to our heritage, man. But till you bring up something like polygyny that was in our heritage, people are like, well, we ain't got to go that far though. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're not trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let's read this real quick, because Babylon is what we associate with the land today, right? So this is Jeremiah 29 and 1. I'm gonna read through verse number 5. It said, now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah, you can leave it right there. These are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. So emphasis, this is for context. This is a letter that Jeremiah is writing to the people who were captive in Babylon. Now jump down to verse number 5. Jump down to verse number 5, right? It's matter of fact, start at verse 4. It said, thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. This is the Lord speaking to Jeremiah. He said, build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Verse number 6, take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. So to the point of you saying, brother, that you wouldn't totally agree with it, well, that's because sometimes we can have a worldly mindset on an actual truth based, you know what I'm saying, way of life. You can't put water in oil and expect it to mix, because it's not going to work like that. We look at the world and how the world acts, and we think that multiple wives is of the world, and it's clearly not, because we know that we've had plenty of kings that actually have waxed mighty with multiple wives. Now, I'm not saying brothers need to go out here and try to get every woman they come across that's in the truth. You know what I'm saying? That has to be between you and your household. But at the end of the day, like we saying, it's not something that can't be done in captivity, because the Lord wrote unto Jeremiah, the Lord gave Jeremiah this vision, this dream. He spoke to Jeremiah to tell us these things, that we could take multiple wives in captivity. If anything, you should want to. I'm not saying you should want to. Let me not say that. But what I'm saying, if anything, the Most High told us to do that, to take more than one wife, so that way we wouldn't be cut off as a seed of a nation. Because before you go, brother, let me say this real quick. Because a lot of people don't understand that the one wife doctrine, a lot of people associate with the brother Paul as if, or even when Christ, when they say, if you put away your wife and marry another, you're an adulterer, right? But that says if you put away your wife, this, that, and the third. That comes from a lot of Romanized, Catholic Church doctrine that you only supposed to have one wife. You know, the Most High wanted us to multiply. So a lot of times we multiply by more than one woman, because you can only get one woman pregnant at one time. But if you had two women, you can get two women pregnant, and you could possibly have more than one child with both of those women. So that's just elaborating on that. He said, no, I wasn't saying that at all. That is not possible. But like Azrael said, it's not expedient.
I was saying, that's what he was saying. He wasn't saying that it was like looked down upon. He was more so saying that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of brothers, like for example, a lot of brothers today want multiple wives, but they still live in a 1-bedroom apartment. They don't have, you know what I'm saying, and they don't have a high-paying job to take care of what they actually want. Their eyes are too big for their plate, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
for
because look, you gotta do everything decently in order. If you're gonna do something decently in order, us brothers know for a fact, right? Even before we get one wife, we're trying to make sure, okay, we're not living at our parents' house no more. We got a job, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. So if you're gonna have multiple wives, your life should reflect that as well, right? before you even get those multiple wives, you should already made provisions and knocked out parameters, you know what I'm saying, so that you can provide for those multiple wives. And I think that's what that brother was trying to say.
Con, and I wasn't saying that the brother wasn't saying like it's looked down upon. I would just, that's why I made the point of water and oil, because it's more so you saying it's not expedient. That's one of the things you go into is saying like, well, I don't think it's expedient. Well, that's because maybe for your understanding of the world that we live in, it might not be expedient for you, but you can't say it's not expedient for other brothers, because other brothers might have those possessions to be able to take care of multiple households. He said, and I will also say that this scripture was talking to the multitude, not one. It said, build ye houses, plural also. It definitely was talking to the multitude, like it mentioned in Jeremiah, like it mentioned in Jeremiah 29:1. It was definitely talking to the multitude. A lot of those things are plural, but anytime the things are plural, a lot of times you can have more than one wife. Like if you go to Genesis 2:24, it said, and a man shall cleave unto his wife, you know what I'm saying, leave his family and cleave unto his wife. Well, a lot of people, you do that, you actually can have multiple wives. You know what I'm saying? So some things are just understood differently, but that's not necessarily saying that, oh, well, that was plural because he was talking to the congregation. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
it's different avenues to go into that.
I wanted to
Yeah, I know you're not saying it's lawful too, brother. I know you're not saying it's lawful. Salaki, go ahead.
So moving on though, verse 6. Can one of y'all read verse 6 real quick? Because that's gonna lead me to my next point.
Man, the sister made a mighty point though, if I may add, man. That comment, bro. Eyes bigger than your belly. That's exactly what's happening, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's why we can make that statement that it might not be expedient for most cases, because you know, most brothers out here.
You know, I know for a fact there's some Israelites out here that have multiple wives, and their other wife still stays with at home in another state with their parents or something. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have a house, or you know, if you don't have the means to abide by the scriptures, by all means, don't have
I ain't gonna count. I'm about to steal that. I'm about to steal that little comment when it comes to polygyny, bro. Eyes bigger than your belly, bro. That was a wise one, man. I gotta give credit when credit's due.
But can one of y'all read verse 6? That's gonna lead us to our next whatchamacallit.
That was pretty good though.
Verse number 6. Take ye wives and begat. The one that we just read?
Right.
Yeah, Con.
Okay, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons.
And what?
And take wives for your sons.
Right. So a lot of times, for example, the Most High God, a lot of times it'll say you're the bride, you're the Most High God's bride, and that's a lot of times it'll say that you're Christ's bride. How can you be both? Because a lot of times back in the day, what would happen? A man's father will also help pick a wife for his son, right? I know the comment earlier, it said a lot of brothers are playing the field too, right? So we're gonna get on the brothers and the sisters, both of them playing the field because they don't know what they need in their life, right? We're too focused on the physical, but a lot of times back in the day, right, our fathers would even pick wives for our sons. So I wanted to get an example from that because we said Romans 15:4, all things written for our learning. Let's go to Genesis real quick. Genesis chapter 24, starting at verse 1.
Genesis 24 and verse 1. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things.
So we're talking about Abraham for context, right? Let's go to verse 3.
Verse number 3. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my sons of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
So fathers knew it was best for us, right? It was commanded for us to have a rib from Adam. Adam had a rib. Was that a literal rib, right? We could see it as that, but also it was somebody that was close to him, all right? And a lot of times we see over and over and over again, take a wife of thy tribe, over and over and over again. It had to be close. So Abraham here, he knows what's best for his son, even though his son, like if he gave the opportunity for his son to pick a wife, he might end up like Samson. And if you read the story of Samson in Judges 16, guess what? You know, Samson, he didn't know how to pick a woman, right? He was all over the place, right? But verse 4 says that he said, go to my country, right? My hometown, and go to my kindred, my family, and take a wife for my son. Because he might try to take a woman of the Canaanites, like I said you shouldn't take, right? So Abraham's telling his servant to take for his son Isaac a wife to comfort his son. So that's what the Most High God's doing with us. We're being prepared as a bride for Christ, right? But we were bought with the price, right? We was brought with a price, that crucifixion, right? The Most High God sent his son to do that, to pay for us, right? So that we could what? Be married unto Christ. So we're being prepared as a bride, right? And we were chosen by the Most High God, and we're being given to Christ. So just like this, brothers, it's not off to ask your dad for advice, or it's not off to ask your elders in your congregation for advice. It's not off to ask brothers in the truth, right? We have a brother that he always was like, you know, I'm not married, and I got married friends. I'm a blow their line up. I'm gonna text them. I'm gonna call them, and guess what? Now the brother, he's through the Spirit, might have found himself a wife, right? That is a good fit for him, right? Go ahead.
I just want to make a reference, man, back to the Game of Thrones, man. But it was an episode where, you know, a young king has just been king, right? I think he's like 12 years old at the time, and his grandfather comes, who is the king of all of the nations, right? And he tells him, what makes a good king, right? And the little kid, he's pondering. He said, wisdom. He said, aye, but what is wisdom, right? He was pretty much told him that wisdom was knowing the things that you know, and knowing the things that you don't know, right? And he was like, but how do you acquire wisdom, right? How do you know more things? He says by getting counsel, right? A good king will, especially a young one of your age, will inquire counsel until he comes of age himself. And a better king will continue to take counsel even after he has become of age. And he will take counsel until the day that he dies, right? And so that's just I'm just putting that in there to emphasize what the brother said, man. Don't be afraid to get counsel, man. We got so many brothers and sisters out here that went through certain things, right? And you'll never know if you don't seek that counsel, right? You know, yeah, you can trust in your heart. You can trust in your own discernment sometimes, but it's also wonderful to get a second opinion, a third opinion, right? Especially for somebody that done been there and done that.
Con, if I can you get a precept real quick in the book of Sirach, chapter 6? And I hate that you just made that last couple of words. You said a second opinion, third opinion, because what I'm finna read is gonna kind of seem like I'm going against what you're saying, and it's not.
You talking about having a counsel of many?
Oh,
Con.
Yeah, don't have a councilman, have a council of one.
Con, yeah, Sirach 6. I want to start at verse number 7.
Sirach.
It still goes though. That counsel of one really is a counsel of wisdom, which is, you know what I'm saying, the Most High God. But we see that kings had multiple counsels all the time. So it could go many ways. So you can still read it.
6. Yeah, 6. It says Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 6:6. It says, be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. Now, like the brother was saying, it's nothing wrong with as acting as you're a king, getting an opinion, right? But like the brother Azrael just made the point of, hey, there's one counselor that you need, really, man, is these scriptures right here. This is your ultimate counselor, right? Can't nobody tell you something better than what the word of the Most High can tell you, because it's the word of the Most High. If you want to hear of the Lord, if you want to inquire of the Lord, get into the word of the Most High, because that is your ultimate counselor. So when you thinking about making a decision, especially when pursuing a spouse, like we said, that goes back to day one, what the brother Donald was saying. Hey, you got to prove yourself first, you know, and that's just going back what brother Azrael is saying. Hey, look, and when as you're proving yourself, make sure all things are done and decently and in order, because long as you know the true order of how your life works when it comes to pursuing a spouse in everyday life, it starts and ends with the Most High. So let the Most High be your counselor in the beginning of your process and at the end of your process. When is the end of your process pursuing a spouse?
Go ahead. People in the world, You know what I'm saying? They don't know who to go to. But when you come into this truth, you should know who to go to. If you're watching this video, you should know who to go to, and that's this word. You know what I'm saying? I saw because he said it was prophesied that he was gonna have that title, mighty counselor, right? So if you having marriage problems, go to the scriptures. If you having children problems, go to the scriptures. If you having financial problems, go to the scriptures, right? If you're having problems with being lazy, go to the scriptures. That's our counselor. I saw a tweet the other day that said, I know I'm in the truth, but is it still a bad thing that I want to get a therapist? I just have some things I gotta talk out. So my stance is this, and it might be kind of blunt, but you have some things you need to pray about, not talk out with somebody that you don't know. Because guess what? You get a therapist, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be Christian based, or they're going to be very liberal, or they're going to be into a whole bunch of stuff and give you advice. You should do yoga. You should do this. You should do X, Y, and Z. You should get out and do some. No, your counselor is this Most High God, right? Like the brother was saying.
Con, man, and what the brother just highlighted is it's kind of how you tie the whole thing in, right? So you see that you out of 1,000 counselors, you're supposed to have one, right? Which is Christ, is the master teacher, right? You know what I'm saying? It says, call no man a teacher because you have one. Don't call no man father because you have one, right? Call no man master because you have one. But does that mean that you don't have earthly fathers and earthly teachers, right? It says, how can a man understand unless some man teach him, right? So we have earthly teachers, right? So what is Christ trying to convey to us? Exactly what the brother brought out. Out of 1,000 counselors, have that one, right? But we also know that one comes in the volume of what? The book, right? And what's in the book? Testimonies, right? The prophets, brothers and sisters that had stories written aforetime for our learning. That's why I brought up this scripture, Proverbs 24:6, right? Because it all works within one, right? For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, right? And in multitudes of counselors there is safety, right? The multitudes of counselors that we have are the law and the prophets, the testimonies, the things written aforetime, right? But it's all under one body, which is what? Christ. You know what I'm saying? Who comes in the volume of the book, that one mighty counselor. He teaches us through his brethren, through his many sheep. You know what I'm saying? He teaches us.
Hey, the brother just made another mighty point. Like you just elaborated on. If we are in Christ, we stand on one foundation, meaning that the council, even if from multiple brothers, should have the same guidance. If you know what I'm saying, hey,
I was gonna say, put that back on the screen.
That's Isaiah 8:20, man. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, there is no light in them, right? So if they're not speaking according to what the law and the testimony says, hey, you got to do away with that counsel, because all that counsel should be 1 Peter 4:11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. You know what I'm saying?
What does it say? Hey, we're 2 or 3 witnesses, everything is established, right? So you don't have to read through your counsel. You know what I'm saying?
Because you got to think, in the book of Job, he had 3 friends that came, and he had to bend himself on all 3 of them when they all came against him. But I want you to go to this precept while the comment is on the screen. Go to 2 Samuel 16:23, right? Because it wasn't everybody, even Solomon had counselors. You know what I'm saying? David had counselors, right? So it was a thing for us to actually be patient, right? Through patience and comfort of the scriptures, we get hope, right? We get our faith. So this is David's counselor, right? Let's read this.
2 Samuel 16:23. It says, and the counsel of Ahithophel, Ahithophel.
You said it right.
Yeah, I know, but it's just that PH always tongue twists me. Which he counseled in those days was as if a man had inquired at the oracle of God. So was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and Absalom.
Right, because he was a counselor for David, and when Absalom took reign, he was a counselor for Absalom as well. But it says like he was inquired of the oracle of God. So we should all be in these scriptures, because if brothers or sisters come to us for counsel, we should be able to give them the oracles of God, right? And we should all be able to be counselors under that one mighty counselor. All right.
Hey, that's 1 Peter 4:11, man. That goes right along with 1 Peter 4:11. You have to speak as the oracles of the Most High, which is why the brother brought out a mighty point, man. If that one counsel, if that foundation is Christ, then that counsel from those brothers should be saying the same thing. It should all flow. It's just like what the world associates with the 4 gospels in the Bible. All of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, just giving different accounts of the same action, right? but it all goes together. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it should be, kind of, sort of. So like,
my
go
bad.
ahead.
I was gonna say, how do we tie this back in, right? When you see a man and a woman, right? We read the other day, a man and a woman that agree, right? Also, a man and a woman come together, become one flesh, right? What is this talking about? They're on one accord, right? When you see me, you see my wife. Why? Because we make the same, we think the same, we make the same decisions, this, that, and the third, right? She gonna tell you the same thing I'm gonna tell you if you ask us the same question, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it should be. Both of y'all should be like-minded and what? Equally yoked. You know what I'm saying?
So mighty points, but moving on for further edification on this pursuing topic, pursuing a spouse. Let's get what should happen for a woman and what should happen for a man when finding a spouse, right? What should your next move be, right? Let's get Psalms 45 and 10. First of all, we're going to start with the woman first, right? We're going to start with the woman. Psalms 45 and 10. And when we're reading this stuff and we're giving advice, we're not doing this to get on our brothers and sisters, but we are trying to rebuke them so that they can start living right. Even though, you know what I'm saying, we're just now getting our heritage back. Because a lot of us, we take spouses and through social media and stuff like that, and we don't do things decent and in order. We try to make up excuses for ourselves. But if we're going to take this heritage and call ourselves the people of the book, we have to actually live it and not just say that we're living it, right? Con, you could take that off the screen. Right, so if somebody could read this for me, Baba Kashab, please.
Psalms 45 and 10. Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people and thy father's house.
Right, so it's saying, forget thine own people and thy father's house. So when you're a woman and you're finna be married to a man, you have to put all those emotional attachments you have away. You can't say, well, you know what I'm saying, I want to be close to my family too. How come I gotta move to you? How come? Read the next verse.
Verse number 11. It says, so shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him.
Right, so this goes back with Genesis, right? When Genesis says her desire shall be to her husband, right? So guess what? Your desire is you're gonna worship your husband, just like it goes back into, I think that was Matthew that we was in, when it says that to love your husband as the church loved Christ, right? Or treat your, paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna worship your husband. You're gonna leave all that you have for your husband. All right.
Come on, man.
One second. That's a hard pill to swallow for some ladies, because a lot of us, we grow up and we have emotional attachments to the people we grow up with. Our dad, we're daddy's girls. We love our moms. We can't see ourselves being away from our friends and our family. But we have to, when you're getting married and becoming a union, you have to forget those things temporarily, right? Get your mind right. You're going to be one with somebody else, right? Go ahead.
Right. That's a mighty point, man, because it's like, we're not telling you you have to have wisdom with this thing, right? We're not telling you to forget, you know what I'm saying, where you come from and forget your parents and your brothers and sisters like that, right? That's not what we're trying to say, right? At a blatant point. But what we're trying to say is you got to be able to rightly divide your relationships. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a relationship with your wife, you gotta be able to know, you know what I'm saying, when you gotta put your family to the side sometimes, right? I was watching again a scene on Game of Thrones, bro. I encourage it. Well, if you're of age, I encourage you to watch it, right? But Game of Thrones, right? It got a lot of good things in there that speak to what you're saying, right? And I was thinking this as I was watching it today, and I'm glad you brought these precepts out, because I wasn't even aware of them for real. And in the scene, the young king that I was just talking about marries this woman, right? And she's a little bit older. She has a brother, and her brother has been caught doing like homosexual acts and whatnot. So they take her brother and they put him into the prison, right? Because even the Edomites wasn't playing that back then, And so, and while he's in the prison, she comes up to him and was like, "You have to free my brother," right? And he pretty much tells her, "There's nothing I can do." Right. And so she gets mad and she starts to storm out. He grabs her and he said, "Where are you going?" And she said, I have to go spend time with my family, right? You know what I'm saying? I gotta go spend time with my family because you won't let my brother out. And he said, well, are you coming back? She said, I don't know. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. That can't be you. You know, sometimes you got to let what, you know, things may happen in your life, right? But you still have to put, you still got to prioritize.
Right.
When I mean by that, you gotta know who to put first and you know where home is.
Right. Forgive me, I pray thee, Salakia, right? But if I can add on to what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, we are spoiled. We have phones, FaceTime, we have social media. You can keep up with the Jones, you can keep up with your family. You could talk to people every day. Back then, when they were sent off to be somebody's wife, guess what? They wasn't seeing their family for years. For years. You know what I'm saying? So nowadays we have it to where we're good. And a lot of our women, we're gonna get on the men next, but a lot of our women, what happens? They give in to their friends. You changed, girl. You just got married and disappeared. But who cares? You're not becoming one with your friends.
You're supposed to change.
Right. You're becoming one flesh with your husband. And guess what? A lot of your friends wish they had a husband.
Con, hey, look, I seen a lyric on IG. I seen a lyric on IG the other day by one of the brothers who make music in the truth. And it was actually kind of a hard lyric because think about it like this, man. A lot of people say when you change, they say, man, you did a full 360. No. The brother said, did a 180 because I don't want to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. If you go in 360 degrees, that's a full circle, right? You just back in the same position that you were in. But if you do a 180, you literally turn around and walk the other way, man. Literally, that's how we have to be in this truth, especially when it comes to counsel of our friends and listening to our friends, right? We got to 180 this thing. You got to be way different than what you was in the world. And that's why, hey, that was probably one of the hardest bars I ever heard, and I might steal it. Shout out to the brother who used it.
Hey, you're late on that one. They've been saying that in the Christian church for so long.
Really?
Yeah, because you know, in the Christian church, they used to say, he picked me up, turned me around. And some pastors would be like, he picked me up, turn me around.
Feet on solid ground.
Right. And they'll be like, I'm not talking about 360. Hey. I'm talking about 180. I'm not going back. Can I get an amen? But before I move on from this topic, I just want I just want women to know, hey, look, modern day, guess what? You can't be scared to have a lifestyle change when getting your husband. All right. It's okay to leave the nest. It's okay to have a different surrounding. It's okay to be in a different state or a different city. If you love this man and you believe the Most High God sent you to him, why would you try to deny God's gift? Right. It says every good thing comes from the Lord. But guess what? Take it to the chin. And hey, look, with everything, right? Whether it's good or bad, you're going to have to take some losses, man. And sometimes you're going to have to take some losses that hurt, but you'll eventually work through them, right? That's what life is, right? Go ahead, Denal.
I was just gonna say before we get off this point, man, like the sister said, literally sent off, no phone, no car, right? No nothing, right? And you got to think, if you reflect back to the book of Tobit, right? And Tobit went out, right? And he found his wife, and they understood this concept so well that his in-laws didn't want to let him leave, right? He stayed for some time, then they begged him to stay a little bit longer. He stayed a little bit longer. And they kept doing this. Why? Because they knew once he set ship sail the other way, you know what I'm saying? I might not see my daughter until she passes. Right. I might not even get invited to the burial. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna enjoy you as long as possible because they understood this concept.
Right. That was also in the book of Judges too, when that man went to her father's house to get his daughter, and he was like, stay another night, eat and drink with us tonight. And he had to stay back 4 days, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then after that, you just have to read the story. But off of that, let's get on the men too, right? So women, you got to be ready to leave everything for your man. Let's find out if the same is required of men, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 2 and 24.
Con. Hey, look, just understand that, all this edification going forward, man, through the Spirit, Most High willing, is edifying, but it's definitely a love type of rebuke, not a hate type of rebuke, man. So if anything, man, Most High willing, these scriptures are talking to you more than you hear our voices.
Hey, And just a side note, before we end, I had several people reach out to me and say they love our testimonies and our witness accounts of, you know what I'm saying, how we went about things. So at the end of this lesson, man, if you guys want to share like how you handled your situation and did it decently in order, and some of the mistakes you made, or if you believe you made mistakes and how you corrected and stuff like that, I think the viewers would appreciate that as well. Just a sidebar.
Con, that's why I'm trying to wrap this up too. I'm trying to get this done, and I only have like maybe 2 or 3 more precepts to go to. Con, Genesis 22 and 24.
It says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh."
So, in order for you to be one flesh with your wife, hey, read the scripture. If you want to be decent in order and become one flesh, you have to leave your father and your mother. I know for me, for a fact, my parents went through their little ups and their downs and their trials, and I was there while they was going through that. But once I told them, I said, once it gets better, I'm leaving, because if I stay here forever, I'm gonna be an old man in the house and I'm not gonna have no wife, right? So I left. I actually did that, and my mom, parents get kind of I know a lot of men know this. When men leave the house or their sons leave the house, moms tend to get kind of emotional. They might not show it. They might show it in different ways, but they kind of get emotional. My mom was talking to my dad. Are you sure he's okay? He just left so abruptly and blah, blah, blah. I wonder why he's acting like this. But I was like, man, I told you I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? But for brothers out there that are inquiring of one wife, multiple wives, make sure that you are willing to leave your parents' house. You shouldn't be in your parents' house no more. Right? And if you are not at the point to leave your parents' house, read the scriptures, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get you a job. Don't take no wife until you are, right? Get you a job, get the means, move out first. Let's be responsible and be decent and in order. Because a lot of brothers I know for a fact jumping the gun and just winging it, right? Make sure that you're ready to move out, because you don't want your mom telling you what to do, your dad telling you what to do, right? Or moving in with her and her parents are in the truth, so I just moved in with them. Now they telling you what to do, and they into stuff that you're not into, and you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Denal.
That's amazing, man. And then the flip side of that, what it talks about cleaving to your wife, right? Your rib, right? You can't be that mama's boy no more, right? When you get sick, you calling your mom, trying to see how your mom can comfort you and make you feel better, right? That's what you got a wife for. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people aren't humble enough to admit this, but when you down and out and you need funds and stuff like that, the first person you should turn to is your wife. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. The first person you should turn to is your husband, right? Because you guys are cleaving to each other. You guys are each other's help me. You don't need mom and dad to be a help me no more, right? That's a last resort now. You got to depend on each other. You got to be humble enough and take pride out the side to allow that to happen as well. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and I want to add too, when it comes to having a wife, man, it's a big responsibility, and now that's something that brothers have to understand, especially those brothers who do believe in polygyny. Hey, and it's a two-side spectrum thing. Like we say, some people look at it as something that you shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? And some people look at it as in, okay, not some people. I'm gonna say some women look at it as just an enjoyment or pleasure time for men. No, you have to understand the severity of how serious taking another wife is. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you have one wife, just thinking about one wife, the first woman that you marry, right? Leave that at your only wife, right? That is a big responsibility to hold. That is not something that, that's not something that to be taken lightly, the duty of being an actual husband. Because when the Bible speaks about husbandry, a lot of husbandry is entitled with laborer's work. So you have to understand that when it talks about taking it at least one wife, that is a title that you have to uphold strongly when it comes to, like the brothers were saying, cleaving. When it comes to getting out your parents' household, you have to make sure that you truly do things decently and in order, because you have to be a true leader as a man in order to just have one wife. And if you want to have two or more, however many you want to have, if you're trying to get multiple wives, that's something that if you looking at your relationship now with your first wife and you seeing that you still slothful in areas, you still slacking, you still not this, that, and the third, you don't, you know what I'm saying, then you shouldn't be out here trying to, you know what I'm saying, take multiple women, right? it's a big responsibility to be a husband, because this is serious. This is a union. And at the end of the day, like I always say, it starts and ends with the Most High. If you can't get the Most High enough for yourself, then you don't need to be sitting out here trying to at least, you know what I'm saying, take another woman. And if you already have another woman, or if you have a woman, excuse me, then you need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to provide for that woman. Because what's the profit of taking on multiple women to now be in the same slothful household that you're leading or spearheading? You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Con, that's a mighty point. Moving on, we're gonna go back to the women, right? We're gonna go back to the women. So now we've established if you're gonna make that step, that's a big step, like the brother said, like the brother Yeshai said, hey, look, it's a big step, and might require you to leave your house, both man and woman, to come together to be one, right? How can you be one if you're still amongst so many? You got to come together and be one, right? And I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying, the Most High God will make a way if that's the desire of your heart, right? 1 Timothy 5:14, right?
Con.
Going back to the women. Let's see what women need to do, right? What's some wisdom for young women, right? Because that's what it's geared towards, right? I know there's a lot of women that are of older age that aren't as young, right? Probably like in their 40s and stuff like that. But for the most part, the most people that want to find a spouse are young women, right? So let's read this 1 Timothy 5:14.
1 Timothy 5:14. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
Right. So we asked the elder at camp, and we said, what do you think that the women nowadays should be doing? And he gave some stuff off the top of his head, and it kind of mirrored this, right? Because hey, look, that's what men want. They want a younger woman when they first marry. They want a woman that's going to give them kids, somebody that's going to guide the house. Think about a lion and a lioness. A lioness guides that house while the lion sits under the tree and he's just a protector, right? But the lioness, she goes and get the groceries. How? She kills, brings it home. She takes care of the cubs, right? So our women, guess what? Our younger women, your desire should be that you want to get married, and a lot of us are, right? We almost overdo that. A lot of our women almost overdo that, and that's why we talked about it yesterday. A lot of our women settle, right? Your job should be to bear children. Guess what? If you can't bear children, pray, fast, consecrate your body to the Most High God. Read what your foremothers did when they were barren, right? Even if you are barren, Wisdom of Solomon, I believe, says, "Blessed are the barren," right? Because guess what? You can focus on the Most High God, but it says also guide the house. So help guide your house. Make sure it's clean. Make sure everything's in order. That your husband is on the same page with your kids. Your kids are respecting him. You're respecting them. You know what I'm saying? Guide your house. Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Because if younger women, if you don't do this, guess what? You're gonna be a city girl. Guess what? You're gonna go into all different type of. You're not gonna have nobody to lead you in a godly direction. You're gonna be into crystals and all different type of stuff, right? You're gonna be a reproach to your family. When is she getting married? Is she ever gonna settle down? I want me some grandbabies. You're gonna be a reproach.
And
right?
then when you do have kids, most likely they're going to be out of a wedlock, for lack of better terms, right? And people are gonna be like, "Dang, bro, she just let her kids run all over the place. She don't guide her house." You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about guiding the house, again, that goes back to being one with your husband, because your husband, whenever he's doing whatever he got to do, whether it's work, he's studying the Bible, this, that, and the third, and the kids is running around, and the wife is telling your kids to do this, that, and the third, right? And your husband should trust in you enough to be like, "Hey, y'all listen to your mom. Y'all listen to your mother, right?" And that should be that, because you should be able to trust your wife that she can handle that stuff and she can guide the house when things gotta get done.
Right. Go ahead, Ishaya.
Con, Salakia, but this is pivotal too. Like, we've been touching on this since we started, man. So you got to provide spiritually first. That's going in unison with y'all are saying, because even in the sense of being able to trust your wife, if you and your wife are not even spiritually on the same page, I ain't gonna trust you gonna have in that woman. Be real. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to you being a man, how can a woman submit to you if you can't even spiritually provide for her the way you need to? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to not have that spiritual leadership. Everybody, like the brother said earlier, he said financially. Everybody thinks so financially when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, providing for a woman. And in a sense, yeah, you got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, bring something to the table when it comes to finances. You know, you definitely want to be able to take care of your wife and your family. But at the same time, that spiritual providing for your wife spiritually is the biggest thing. Because like you said, you can't get on the same page as your wife. You can't be one flesh with her if spiritually y'all not sound. You can't,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, expect your wife to guide the house and kind of hold the house down while you're gone or away doing the work or whatever at work if y'all not spiritually on the same page. So that's the biggest thing. Go ahead,
I
Slakia.
was gonna say, and we get that from the learning of our fathers as well, because you can have everything. You can have a 6-figure job, a bunch of land, a bunch of cattle. You can have a bunch of kids, but guess what? It says the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh
Take
away.
it away.
So if
Con.
you read Job, all his stuff was taken away. And what did his wife do? Obviously, Job's wife wasn't on the same spiritual level as him. And Job's wife said, "Curse God and die." But Job said, "No perverseness is going to come out my lips. The God,
Hey.
God he taketh away, and God give it." So guess what? You got to be spiritual minded, because even if you can provide for your wife, the Most High God can take that away from you and test both of y'all.
He said, you speakish as the foolish woman. That's what he told his wife. Like, that's instantly right there. You can have all the possessions and land in the world. And that's a direct point to brothers who make a lot of money, who might got a lot of houses. They can provide for multiple women. It's not about your materialistic value. You know what I'm saying? If you don't learn nothing else from this series that the brothers have put together through the Spirit of the Most High, learn it's not materialistic. You know what I'm saying? It's not flesh-based. This faith is not even flesh-based. It's all spiritual. We know that the law is spiritual. Everything is spiritual first. You have to be spiritually in tune with the Most High in order for anything that you want in life to come to pass, if it be the Most High will. But that's a mighty precept. 1 Corinthians 7:33.
Yeah, go back to 1 Corinthians 7 and 33. I know we touched on it yesterday, but I like where the brother's going, because he said if we don't provide spiritually, we're going to be given over to this, right? We're going to be given over to just pleasing our wife in all things, and next thing you know, wives rule over us, and children are our oppressor. And that goes into my next point, right? Through the Spirit, that goes into my next point, because we should be taking a wife not for lust, but because it's a spiritual union, right? We should, because one thing about it, even though I have a physical father, guess what? He's my brother. All right. My dad is my brother because I have one father. So you might have elders, and your elders are your elders, but guess what? That's your brother too. And I'm saying that because the precept I'm about to pull in Songs of Solomon 4 and 10 is going to give an example of how we should treat our wives, right? Songs of Solomon 4 and 10.
I can read it out the word.
And then after that, we're gonna go to Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 7.
I'm tripping. That's in the canon.
Song of Solomon. You said 4 and 10?
Yeah, Song of Solomon 4 and verse 10.
Okay, this is Song of Solomon 4 and 10, right? I got it in the sword. It says, "How fair is thy love, my sister."
My what?
My sister.
My sister. Keep reading.
My spouse.
My what?
My spouse.
So guess what? Let's finish it out.
How much better is thy love than wine, and the smell of thine ointments than all spices.
So guess what? Wisdom is that your spouse, even though you took her and you're giving and you're making babies with her and you're fruitful and multiply, she's your sister first. It didn't say my spouse, my sister. It said my sister, my spouse. When you take her, that's your sister in Christ. That's your sister in the church. That's your sister, right? You got to treat her as such. You got to treat her like you. A lot of us wouldn't beat on our sister, but some of us beat on our spouse, right? A lot of us would kill somebody if they beat on our sister, but we'll beat on our spouse. We got to treat our spouse as our sister, right? This for the men, right? We were just on the women on they should be willing to marry and guide houses, and but now we're on the men, right? Let's go to Tobit chapter 8 and verse 7 just to confirm that.
You said Tobit 8 and verse 7.
All
right, I got it right here in the sword. I'll let the screen play up first. All right, Tobit 8 and verse number 7. And it says, "And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly.
So he says he
Therefore,"
takes not his sister for lust, right? He already, when you're trying to find a spouse, understand you're dealing with your sisters, right? When you're trying to pick the litter, fellas, you're dealing with your sisters. And same thing for you women. You're dealing with your brothers. So watch how you talk to each other, right? Even if y'all disagree on points, even if stop the disrespect, right? We're all in this thing together. We all want a spouse. We all want a happy marriage. We all want an honorable marriage. So just because somebody disagrees with you, you don't have to say that they're wicked. Just because somebody has a different understanding, you don't have to say that they're evil or they're gonna learn or the Most High God's not dealing. Guess what? Just say, okay, move on. Treat that brother as your brother and treat that sister as your sister. He says, I take not my sister. When he was looking at her before they was even married, right? And he's saying his vows, I take not my sister, right? Not this fair, young, beautiful thing. Not, you know what I'm saying? I take not my sister for lust, but uprightly, right? Keep reading that.
therefore mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
Because the only one that's going to allow your marriage to flourish is the mighty counselor. Can a counselor on this earth help your marriage stay together if you don't have the Most High God, right? And he's got to ordain that because he said marriage is honorable in all things, right? But the only way it's honorable in all things is if you keep it decent and in order. With that, that's the lesson, fellas.
Mighty man. That's a wonderful way to wrap up this three-headed series, man. If you brothers want, we can start giving, our little testimonies and whatnot, just to, reassure people about how things may go, especially in today's time, right? I'll go first, man. I'll be short. But me and my rib, we were together for about 4 years in college, outside of the truth, and we had broke up. When I was in fraternity, right? We had broke up, and then it's one of those things where we both found the truth kind of like at the same time. We both came in the truth around the same time, and that's one of the things that drew me back to her, because I noticed that she was coming into the truth, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. So I came back to her, and at the time, man, she was dealing with a brother. He wasn't in the truth, and so I kind of came. I didn't home wreck or nothing like that, but they weren't married or anything at this time. So I kind of expressed my interest into her, and she took her time, man, and she fought against it and whatnot. And like we said, man, I kind of enticed her back into my arms, But she we rekindled whatever we had, and we found that we were the best ones for each other. I told her my woes, she told me her woes, and that's how we kind of got back together in a nutshell. But in the process of us getting back together, I think we had got back together, and within it went pretty quickly. Within a month or two, I think we ended up actually getting married, right? And I know some of my family members thought it was too early. Some of her family members definitely thought it was too early, And we ended up getting married. Did I ask for her father's hand in marriage? I was cool with her father for some time, and we had already had a conversation. And he was like, "Whenever you're ready to marry my daughter, man, just know you got my blessing, this, and the third." So I had his blessing. It was a little harder to convince her mother, but like anything, we had some bad blood in there, and so it just needed some time, right? And so this is where I took the scriptures, man, and I saw it carefully. Although I wanted her mom to be on the same page, man, I really loved my rib at the time, and I had already got her father's blessing. And if you know, man, it's really the father's possession, right? That's who you go to, the father, for everything. And although her mom wasn't really on the same page with us, I got what I needed, man, and we made it happen. And as far as dowry goes or anything like that, I reached out to her father and whatnot, and of course he's a cool brother, and he didn't really require anything too much of me, you know, just that I take care of his daughter. Now, when you do ask, you know, people's fathers, you know, be ready for, you know, some people might actually have some serious requests, you know. I might need you to, you know, help me out with my lawn care or something like that.
Hey,
Be ready.
Salakia, I was once courting this one girl, and her dad literally wanted me to buy a little lamb for him. He was in the truth, and he slick wanted me to buy a lamb. So I was like, I will. I looked at the prices, and I was like, is she worth it? You know what I'm saying? But did I do it? No, because I'm not with that woman. But I was saying it is funny that some of these dads, when you ask them, they actually do have wishes. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, this is a little, you know what I'm saying, sidebar. Women, if you don't want to a multiple wife or a sister wife, tell your dad, you know what I'm saying, how you feel about it. And he might be like, hey, look, you take my wife, you take my daughter, guess what?
These are my terms. You know what I'm saying?
Terms. And hey, look, the man has to honor that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
and so like the brother was saying, like especially if you asking a father that's in the truth, you know what I'm saying, be prepared for them to, you know, because to whom much is given, much is required. You know what I'm saying? My rib dad is in the truth. I thought he was gonna run me for a dowry. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's the that's what we face in the truth, right? But it's all for the betterment of our nation. Because hey, look, if he asks for a dowry, you'll always remember what it took to get, you know what I'm saying, your rib. And to whom much is given, much is required, right? Nothing comes easy, right? And so and I'm not trying to give too much of my situation away. I'm just really hitting vague points here, you know what I'm saying? And so lo and behold, we ended up getting married. At the time, we emphatically believed that sex was marriage. I still believe sex is marriage, right? But of course, both parties have to be on one accord and going into that, right? Because we can see that if you force somebody that's raped, you know, we can go down that another time, but you know, I do believe sex is marriage. It's definitely the consummation point, right? And we did it that way. Now we also did the courthouse thing too, right? I know we're in Babylon and it's a marriage license, and you might ask, what's the marriage license for? You know what I'm saying? You getting permission from Babylon to get married? You don't need that. I know you don't need it, right? And at first I was totally against it, right? But in our land of captivity, it does help you navigate through certain things. And they try to make it hard for us so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men to be fathers in our households, right? So being married just on paper, that by the, you know, having a marriage license, that just makes it easier. You know, when if you do happen to fall out and you're going through custody battles and stuff like that, or you die or she dies, and you want to leave stuff to her and she wants to leave stuff to you, and you know what I'm saying? So that's why we went ahead and did it. Also, I had some counsel from my mother. She really wanted us to do it, man, and she was honing in on it. And you know, sometimes you gotta listen to your elders, man. And if it's not gonna hurt nothing, go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? What can it hurt, man? But that's the route we took. We did consummate, and we and how do people might ask, well, how do you consummate a marriage through laying down with each other? Like how serious does that have to be? For us, we read scriptures beforehand, and we read scriptures after, right? And we also prayed before. I can't remember if we prayed after or not, or we just read scripture, but I'm pretty sure we prayed afterwards too, right? And I was praying afterwards, man. I can't really remember what I was praying, but I know my voice was a little shaky at the time. You know what I'm saying? But and that's how it happened. We ended up going to the courthouse, and then lo and behold, we're here today. And at first, you know, I really can't say we had any rough patches, but again, my case wasn't as normal as everybody else's, because I did have history with my rib, you know what I'm saying? But now we're in a good place now. Everybody's on the same page for the most part. We still have family members that's not in the truth, but as far as respecting our union and what we have going on, we're all on the same page, right? And that's just a little bit how we handled everything and how we went about everything kind of decent in order. It again, like the brother was saying, of course, you always think you can do things better, and people are always going to put their opinions on you and stuff like that, man. But as long as you're doing it to the best of your ability, I really can't complain about how we did it. It brought us to the point where we at right now. But yeah, man, that's a little bit about how I went about, my marriage and doing things decent in order. In a nutshell, them other brothers getting their story together. Look at them typing out their points. God, you know what I'm saying? But that's a little bit of my story, you know what I'm saying, in a nutshell, to wrap up this third-headed beast right here on this series. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my
Con. Hey, look, I'm gonna keep my story real brief, man. I definitely learned a lot from the decisions I made in the past to be able to give sound advice from all aspects. You know what I'm saying? Because experience is definitely the best teacher. And there's some things that I would love to do differently when it came in terms of me taking my wife, but at the end of the day, we did make that covenant with the Most High before the Most High, uh, justly. So, I mean, I don't know. Everybody gets married in a different fashion. Some people wait years, some people wait hours, some people take, months. And me and my wife got married after a few months of knowing each other. So one of the things, like I always say, man, I definitely, like I say, definitely pray that all three of these videos that we've done thus far were strictly the Most High speaking through us, so that way y'all could be edified and learn. Because like we say, man, we always open to people got questions, comments, concern. We always open to speak, give counsel. You know what I'm saying? But just me personally, for sure, I definitely am grateful for my wife. Uh, I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for the union. I'm grateful for her family because, like I said, there's definitely things that I believe that I could have did differently. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I learned from my mistakes and I move on from them. And you know what I'm saying? I'm able to tell y'all that, hey, through the Spirit, 1 Corinthians 14:40, let all things be done decently and in order. But make sure y'all take heed to the, you know what I'm saying, the sound doctrine from the word that we brought out. If I spoke anything as a man, chew the meat, spit the bones. What were some of your mistakes? What were some of y'all mistakes? Look at the brother scoffing. Look at the brother scoffing. Hey, look, I'm not gonna say too much. Just know that I definitely didn't follow 1 Corinthians 14:40. I'm gonna just say that. But I learned from that. Not not in a wicked sense. It wasn't nothing wicked done. It wasn't like we did anything off according to scripture. It was, come on, man. Come on, man. You see this right here? This is madness.
Yeah, I blocked it.
Con. But what was the main thing you wish you had done differently? I would say I wish we had, I'm not even going to say take time to know my wife more. I would say the way we introduced it to her family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily a long story, but it's in the sense that my wife, her family, you know what I'm saying, when I met my wife, her family, you know what I'm saying, they was all kind of out of town. So it was one of them things, like, they're not in necessarily in the truth, and explaining the way that we believe, you know what I'm saying, marriage happens. um they definitely didn't necessarily agree with it. They wanted to be like ceremonial, have like a wedding, this, that, and the third. So I would say that if I could go back and do anything different, it would definitely be address it to, her mom and her grandmother, address it to them in a different manner. You know what I'm saying? Her father was cool and everything, received his blessing and everything, but it was definitely her mother that I think that in her mom's side of the family, that I think that we could have, dressed it up in a more understandable manner. That was back in my days where I was just like, bruh, it's the Most High, you know what I'm saying, his word. Like, I don't forgot which brother brought the point out. He was basically saying this is like, you chalk it up to, well, it is scripture, you know what I'm saying, and do it. That was kind of back in my young in the truth days. um I wasn't really as knowledgeable. If any man think he to be knowledgeable, I think nothing of myself. I just want to say that I think nothing of myself, but I can see that I've grown from when me and my wife got married to now. you know and I can honestly say that um we didn't necessarily sin. You know what I'm saying? We didn't sin at all. It was just, like I said, the presentation to those who don't believe means a lot more than what we think. Because, and I'm gonna just say that as a blanket statement, because that applies to all things when it's truth based. When you're trying to get people in the truth, everybody has a different type of way of feeling when they come into the truth. But anytime you're trying to get somebody to come in, you don't necessarily have to water down the scriptures to appease somebody else. No, but what you can do is choose your words wisely and make sure your actions follow them. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be kind of like a Pharisee. And in a sense, that was kind of my mindset at the time, like pharisaical, like, hey, this is what the scriptures say. You know what I'm saying? And my actions probably didn't show that, even though they weren't necessarily off. But that's, to them, it's almost like I was a Pharisee, you know, and my wife was a Pharisee. So I just think I would have just presented it to her family better. Salaki, go ahead.
Nah, Salaki, my bad, but I just wanted to point out, man, that's important, man, because that's some of the things that we deal with in Babylon, right? In Babylon, we got to deal with parents and relatives that aren't in the truth, and as much as we don't want to take their opinions into consideration when it comes to marriage and this, that, and the third, you are joining families, right? You are going to be amongst these people. You are going to be dealing with these people, right? And you got to find the righteous compromises, right? The ones that don't go against the law, but the ones that make every party happy, right? You know what I'm saying? So you got to, like the brother said, you want to present these things in a mannerable way. I think I can say that I probably could have did a better job doing that too. You know what I'm saying? We were young in the truth, young in this truth, you know what I'm saying? But and we had a zeal, and at the time, you know, we had a no tolerance spirit, and we were like, man, the Bible says what it says. Either you like it, or you don't, right? Which was cool and all, but I think to get the people, you know, with all thy wisdom, get understanding, right? And you can get this wisdom out, but you got to be able to relay it to the people that aren't in the truth, so they can understand better. You, like the brother was saying, and it is wisdom to move that way, and maybe to not water some things down, but take some things down a notch, so that the relatives that aren't in the truth, right, they don't feel offended, and they can feel incorporated, right, and it can be a beautiful moment for everybody.
Right, you gotta be practical. You gotta be practical because, you know, our forefathers and our foremothers, they were dealing with people that weren't in the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jacob, when Jacob went and found, dang, I meant to get those precepts. I said I was done already, but I meant to get the precepts with Jacob and him paying the dowry of labor. You know what I'm saying? And he already had acquired his second wife and still had to work those 7 years with his second wife. So sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be work before and after you get your wife. And also, you still have to make sure that the dad is happy with giving away his daughter to you. But those two women that Jacob took were Syrian women, right? If you look at Syrian women on Google, right, they kind of look like Mexicans. So you can see how our Mexican brothers kind of have that look about them. You know what I'm saying? But those Syrian women, they were into idolatry and idols and all different type of stuff. But guess what? He still paid that dowry. He didn't swindle their dad. You know what I'm saying? He was still honorable. So just because they're not in the truth, be practical and have conversations with these people, right? Because at the end of the day, the Bible says be peaceable with all men.
Hey, that's very important. Like I said, if there was anything I'd do different, I just, you know what I'm saying, give the present a little better. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying, if your mom or anybody buys you something, they give it to you and they be like, man, here, man. They give it to you, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna make you not want it. Versus if they say, here you go, you know, I wanted to give you this, that'll make you say, well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing I wish I would have did differently. Like we said, hey, that's just the zeal that I had back then. And in a sense, that's what I said, it's just growth. When you read the scriptures, you grow in the truth. This is where you can sit back and say, I could have done that better, you know. And if you just keep it real with yourself, hey, you'll never go wrong. You never be ashamed nor confounded if you honestly confess your faults. Me and my wife prayed, and I'm gonna say my dowry was lunch at IHOP. That was my dowry, IHOP. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty much like
about that. You were saying, yeah, man, I gotta wait. I think we was out somewhere, and you like, yeah, I gotta go to IHOP with her dad tomorrow. So
yeah, my dowry was definitely IHOP, man. But yeah, it was like we said, me and my wife didn't prayed on it. We didn't fast it. We didn't said that, you know, hey, at the end of the day, we still going strong. You know, I love my wife to the T. You know what I'm saying? I know my wife loves me. So definitely for Showski, take these, you know what I'm saying, scriptures to heart, because there's definitely a lot you can learn from even being young. I'm only 24. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, 24, I got a lot of homeboys who ain't even married, but they got children. You know, I didn't want that for myself. Being in the truth gives you the opportunity to have a woman who wants the same thing that you want, because y'all want what the Most High wants. And that's the best thing I could say about being married, is just having somebody who loves the Most High as much, if not more, as you. But with that being said, hey, I got to go grab my wife by the hair real quick and throw her on the ground.
Man, that's a mighty point, man. What I wanted to bring up again, man, was the fact that, hey, when you go read the scriptures aforetime, that was meant for our learning, right? You got Moses, right? When he took what was his wife, his first wife's name?
Is Zipporah?
Yeah, Zipporah. When he took Zipporah, right, and she was a woman of a different nation, this and third, he was still very respectful to Jethro. He was still respectful for, you know what I'm saying, everything he had going on, because Jethro was a high priest, whatever religion that they was doing. So he had to honor that and all of that, right? All of the promises that Jethro made him promise and all that stuff, he had to honor that. Even to the point where Jethro paid him a visit in the wilderness, right? He was still hospitable to Jethro, even though Jethro wasn't in the truth. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to be, you know, take it down a notch, be peaceable among men. Yeah, they might celebrate Christmas, but when they come over, man, cook them a meal. You know what I'm saying? Make them feel like they're family at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we got to realize that, you know, these people, they don't mean harm. They just sick, right? And they're in need of a healer.
Right. Make them laugh.
I want to say, don't put yourself out of reach of being that vessel to bring them into something that's beautiful, right? Because all you're gonna do is scare them further and further away of this truth, right? And next thing you know, then people in your family start saying, "Oh yeah, so and so was in the cult, this, then third." You know what I'm saying?
Make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? Give them the truth in a way that they can handle it. For example, I know my rib, her mom came and was like, "Yeah, just because you gave up pork don't mean I give up pork." And
hey, go ahead and give out your whole story, bro.
She had just said, you know, just because you give pork up don't mean I give up pork. And she had just told us that she burnt her tongue on some ribs. And I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? She was like, pork ain't never did nothing to me. I said, but it burnt your tongue though. You know what I'm saying? Make these people laugh, man. Make them feel like you're normal people, right? They don't be uptight all the time. Make them feel comfortable so they can say, you know what? You know, this religion ain't that bad. And they got some wisdom about themselves. You know what I'm saying? I like the way they carry themselves. I could trust my kids with them. I could trust them to babysit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because they know we not finna do nothing crazy. But going ahead and telling my story, be brief, you know what I'm saying? But detailed. I just want to let y'all know I'm the perfect brother, you know what I'm saying? And I did not mess up in any way. I was you know what I'm saying? I was like Noah, you know, and I was like Job, you know what I'm saying? I was just playing. But let's say on my journey to my spouse, man, I would say when I came into the truth, and if you've been following my page for a minute, you know what I'm saying, I came into the truth about 4 or 5 years ago. And ever since I've been on Instagram heavy, you know what I'm saying? But if you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen me court some people before. I've probably like three people before I met my spouse, you know what I'm saying? But when that's
you sure it was 3 or 4?
So like, yeah, I was proving 3 people.
Or 13.
I was proving 3 people. It was 3 women, right? And they had their ups and their downs. And like I was saying the other day, man, every time I met a woman, I would fast for 3 days, right? Hit them with that Esther fast, right? Or hit them with that. Who else fasted for 3 days? Was it Jonah? No, it wasn't Jonah. It was I can't remember who it was. I just read it too. But anyway, I hit them with that fast for 3 days. I made my body weak, right, to get an answer from the Most High God, and He always gave me an answer. One time I got my answer, and I also got the name of my firstborn child from fasting as well. So just let y'all know, hey, the Most High God does, you know what I'm saying, notice that affliction you put your soul through. But you know what I'm saying, I know one of the signs I got on the 3rd day Salakia. You know what? It might have been 4 girls. But I know I know I know I
Well,
know
baby.
I know, but hey, look, that just means I was thorough now. I wasn't laying down with none of these women either. You know what I'm saying? I was proving these women. So I know one of them, I was on that 3rd day of my fast, the Most High God made this girl call me, and she was like, she told me for, you know what I'm saying, sake of the short conversation, she told me she was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And the man that she was having a baby with, she was courting him before, and he was in the truth, but he wasn't in the truth. And I gave her some advice and was like, you know, I prayed that if, you know, you were for me, that it would be for me, but if you was another man's wife, that you would be his. So I was like, you know what I'm saying, hit that brother up, tell him what's going on, and I'm gonna pray for you, blah, 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 blah. And we ended that mutually, you know what I'm saying? But the Most High God gave me my answer. I know another one on the 3rd day, he made this girl act up. She was acting a fool. And I think it was during Purim. You know what I'm saying? It was during Purim. And yeah, like the brother said, whoa, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it up. Literally on the 3rd day, I was eating. When the sun went down on my fast, I got a phone call. And we had only called each other maybe like 3 times by then. Right. And she was boo-hoo crying, couldn't breathe. And I was like, just calm down, calm down. And she told me everything. And I was like, dang, once I God gave me my answer. So I'm not gonna give y'all all the answers, but I'll give y'all like a few more, like maybe one more. Another one, he made this girl on the 3rd day, because the 3rd day was gonna be a Purim day. And we had hosted Purim in Augusta, Georgia. And out of nowhere, this girl, man, I did a lot for this girl, met her family, everything, man. I drove to see her. I got her flued out, came down to Georgia to go to Purim and everything. On that 3rd day of that fast, bro, and I should have did the fast a lot earlier, but on that 3rd day, she started acting like straight Jezebel. Straight Jezebel. Like, I can't make it up. Like, I was like, this is a different girl. So she was threatening to leave and all different type of stuff. And I was like, man, this would happen on the Most High God's holy day. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? God gave me my answer. And you know what? So be it. I'm not holding on to what's not mine. You know what I'm saying? Now that girl, later on from that, she has repented, and you know, she's confessed to me that she was acting immature and childish, and she wished the best for me, and everything's for a learning. But you know what I'm saying? The Most High God gave me my answer. It says you fast for 3 days from meeting these women, or when you are about to make a decision to move forward, you then begin to fast. So when I meet these women, and you know, of course, we're gonna talk a little bit, get to know each other, ask preliminary questions and stuff like that. But when I decide I want to make it serious, right, at that point, which it might take a week or 2 weeks, when I decide to make it serious, then that's when I would go on my fast for 3 days. All right. And a lot of times I wouldn't even tell the girl that I was going on the fast. So a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, maybe 2 of them probably thought I ghosted them. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High God gave me my answers. But moving on to my wife. So I met her, right? And she had been following me on social media. Uh, and she was kind of, I guess, in and out the truth, but she was always like level-headed, and she would always ask questions, be very attentive, and she would just be like, you know, I want more of a truth-based family, you know what I'm saying, friendships. And I remember the advice I gave her. I was like, you know, well, until you seek the kingdom first, you're not going to get those things, right? If you're still trying to balance the world and the truth, you know what I'm saying, he's not going to give you those friends and the truth that you need, or that man and the truth that you need. You got to actually give up everything, seek him first, and then all will be added. You know what I'm saying? And I remember she telling me like, yeah, that sounds, you know what I'm saying, about right. I need to do that, blah, blah, blah. So she started taking it more serious and stuff like that. Now, fast forwarding, you know what I'm saying? I had helped her get in touch with some sisters and put her in some group chats and stuff like that. And you know, I started having an eye for her, right? My eye started, you know what I'm saying? She was appealing to me, just the stuff that she would say and how she would act. And I know she was a little bit older than me, but I was like, you know what? I feel like the Most High God gave me wisdom, and you know what I'm saying? Hey, I felt like I was okay. So I said, I slid in her DM and I said, hey, excuse me, do you have a man? And she pretty much threw her phone number at me. You know what I'm saying? So maybe she was plotting on me or what. I didn't even get to ask for her phone number. She just, kind of threw her phone number at me. You know what I'm saying? So I was left with a chance. I was like, I think I replied, I was like, dang, I wanted the opportunity to be a man and ask you for it. But I guess, you know what I'm saying, she was at that point in life where she had messed with so many bad guys and been dealt bad with that she just was ready for a righteous relationship. So anyway, that's how I got her phone number, right? And so we're texting, sending video calls, FaceTiming here and there. And I'm like, yeah, I really like the feel of this girl. So I told her, you know what I'm saying? Because I usually didn't tell the girls, but I told her I need to go on a fast, right? And she told me that she needed to go on a fast too. So I was like, is she either playing with my strings or, you know what I'm saying, she might be the one, you know what I'm saying? We might be like-minded and agree. So we went on a fast, and this fast, I fasted from talking to her. Like she made that, you know what I'm saying? She said, yeah, so I'm not gonna respond to you for a few days. Don't take it the wrong way. And I was like, dang, that's mighty, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, that's cool. So after the 3 days, we came back, we was talking again, and I think Passover was coming up, right? Passover's coming up, and so I'm going to Passover, trying to keep it on the DL, but some people know where I'm going. Because we already had Passover, we already held a Passover, so I'm going to this other Passover, and the brother Yeshaya was in the car with me. Keep in mind, I only knew Yeshaya probably like 2 days. Like when me and him like road warriors, you know what I'm saying? We go into Atlanta every weekend to see SOT, to do this, to do that. Right,
to see girls, to see women. That's why they were going.
All regarding
that is a lie.
Look. All regarding the truth, though. It's all regarding the truth. This is before even hopeful elect was even a thought.
Do not listen to Brother Dunal. He is lying. We did not go to see women. We went to go fellowship with men and women of the Lord.
They road trip to see women, to find ribs. They was wandering up and down sorrowful.
Look. So anyway, we made this road trip. And look, sometimes the scripture says you got to leave your house, man, and cleave to your wife. You feel me? And that's what the brothers and I was doing. We was putting that gas money in when gas wasn't so high. But anyway, right? I think we was coming up here for a Passover, right? And that was going to be my first weekend seeing her. First time in person was going to be a holy day. And I think in the car, me and Foster, I think I was trying to make a song. I think I was like, man, I'm going to make a song. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
My bad, Yeshaya. But yeah, we was gonna make a song. we was gonna make a song, right? Well, I was gonna make a song. I was like, met her on the Sabbath day, and it was something. I forgot the words. Anyway, so we're praying, we praying and praying, right? Well, I'm praying because she's telling me leading so check this out, right? Going into this Passover, we're trying to keep the law, right? And she tells me, hey, I don't want this to make you upset or anything, but my period is, or my flower, my time of the month, my issue of blood.
You already said it now.
You have ears to hear, right? my time of the month is coming, and I know it's unlawful for me to be in the congregation, so I might not be able to see you for Passover. I was like, dang. So I told her straight up, I said, if it's of the Most High God, he's parted the Red Sea before, so he can definitely hold your flood back as well. And I said, also like the woman with the issue of blood. So I said, it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? If it's of the Most High God, he'll stop that thing. And after my 3-day fast, and after this miracle, you know what I'm saying? Because he held that flood back. She didn't have her period that month. Now, I could have been like, hold up, she been sleeping with people, but I took it as a sign from the Most High God.
Yeah, you thought to put her away privy.
Hey, look, try to be like Joseph, you know what I'm saying? Put her away to the side, like, hey, she might have been doing something on the side, but nah, she missed her period that month, and I took that as a sign from God splitting the Red Sea for me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, she the one. So I was like, I'm gonna take her more serious anyway. So we went ahead and moved. We went ahead and went out to Atlanta to that Passover. We had a mighty Passover. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that the brothers had like their feet washing and stuff like that. It's like
I had on that same shirt.
Brother had on that same exact shirt. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could like add some pictures in here, but I
got a picture.
It was a great Passover, right? So after that, you know what I'm saying? we're still talking and stuff like that. And then I make the decision to leave my household, right? I was staying in an apartment, and then I moved back home because my parents were going through some things. So I moved back home to help out, and I left, right? Because I was like, if I'm gonna be a man about this, I gotta leave my parents' house. Now I didn't have nowhere to go, but she had an apartment. Now in the world they might have called it shacking up, but I know myself, right? I know my my limitations. Now before meeting her, I was celibate for 4 years. That means I was not sexually active for 4 years. That's how serious I was, right? Coming into this truth. And you know what I'm saying? And so I had let her know that, just to be upfront. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times when you let the opposite sex know that you've been on a streak for so long, either two things happen. They want to take that from you, or they respect it and they're not going to let you do anything, right? So anyway, I decided to move out here to the city and move in with her. You know what I'm saying? Help her with some bills and stuff like that as well. I wasn't freeloading. So I saw this in my eyes as leaving the house and cleaving to my wife, even though we haven't laid together and we haven't consummated anything, right? I still wanted to be decent and in order. So her family lives like 10 hours away. Don't want to give the location or the state, but they live like 10 hours away. And I couldn't go and meet her father just like that. You know what I'm saying? I've had conversations on the phone with him, but I wanted to do it in person and be decent and in order, right? But I had some brothers, not gonna say who, say, bro, what you gonna do? What you waiting so long? Just, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to rush.
Hold on.
Hold
on. Because you speaking on me, bro, and I gotta respond now, bro.
I didn't say who.
I gotta clear my name real quick, bro. Because look, bro, all I was saying at the time, you know what I'm saying, as a counselor, as a brother, I was like, bro, why you, you know what I'm saying, moving in with this lovely lady, and you ain't even holler at her father first, man. I was like, I thought that was kind of out of order, man. And I called the brother out on that, bro. That's just how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I remember we all went out to Marietta Diner. It was us and about 10 other brews, and we was all out there. Everybody was giving their opinion, and we was like, I am in order. We were like, hey, no, you're not in order.
Hey, man, hey, look, bro, that was probably one of the funniest / low-key, oh my gosh type of nights, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. The food was busting too, bro. But everybody was screaming in the middle of the restaurant.
They so focused
no, you're not in order, bro.
Right,
you do X, Y, and Z.
Hey, bro, and I was getting hot too, because I was like, at the time, my rib, she wasn't my rib, but she didn't know the people like I knew. She didn't know she didn't know my brother and his rib and some other people. So she's just trying to take advice from everybody and be cordial. I'm like, no, you don't need to take advice from them, because they didn't have their ducks in a row either. So it was really something, because when brews get together, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we get very passionate. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, I moved out there. So I was like, I want to go ahead and marry her. I'm in my head, I was ready to have kids and ready to be married. It was just me listening to the Lord to who to, you know what I'm saying, was going to do that, right? And so once I knew, I wanted to take the time, and we had already planned out where she was going to take off from work and do some stuff like that, so we'd have time to go and we meet her parents. But push come to shove, I think we went to Baltimore. We went to see the brothers at WF5 for Pentecost, me, all three of us on the screen, and another brother. And on the ride back, they was telling me about their marriages and what they did before they laid down and everything. And they got me thinking, man. They got me thinking, like, and they was pretty much enticing a brother. You know what I'm saying? Pause. They were enticing a brother, and they was like, you're not doing nothing but causing her to sin. She burning in her lust. She doing X, Y, and Z. I said, bro, I want to be decent and in order, bro. And so we went to Paul's letters. We went all over the place on that car ride, right? And came home, and I don't know if it was that night or a few nights later, but I remember just laying with her, and I asked her, I said, Con, like the brother said, it was righteous counseling. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, and we went over that today. You gotta have counselors, you know what I'm saying, to strive in this thing. But I remember we was laying in the room, and I looked at her. I said, So you're serious about this? You want to get married? No. I'm gonna say this. Before we got to the room, we was in the car because we were coming back from something. I forgot what it was.
You were coming back from camp that night in Fort Valley, and that was when we was at Donald crib kicking it, and then we was talking about marriage.
Con, that's exactly right. Because that's exactly right. And I remember on the car ride home, I was telling her, I said, if we do this, I told her, I said, you can't tell your parents, but we can tell my parents. And I know that sounds weird because my parents are in the truth, so they would understand what was going on. Because I wasn't talking about going to a courthouse. I was talking about like we are going in the scriptures. We're gonna be one mind, and we're going to lay down. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna please me like Rebecca pleased Isaac. But nonetheless, I knew like her parents might not understand that. So I said, we're not gonna tell your parents until I'm in person with them, right? I want to be a man. So she was like, okay, cool, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I can hold water. And I was like, all right, I know how girls get.
Hey, put a 1 in the chat if this brother committed a robbery against her father, bro. Put a 1.
No, check this out. Oh my God. Now check this out. Check this out though. I had like 2 or 3 conversations with her dad, and he was telling me stuff like, man, my only wish is that you take care of my daughter, and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So hey, look, in a way I paid a dowry. I told my rib, and he said no comment. Look, I told my rib that I still got to get her dad a dowry, even though, you know what I'm saying, all he asked for me to do was take care of his daughter. I still want to get him like a bottle of wine or maybe like a nice bracelet or a watch or something. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? She was like, sure, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's understandable. Like, I know my parents, they're not going to understand and blah, blah, blah. We will wait till because we were planning on getting a courthouse marriage too, you know what I'm saying? Just to have it legal in the captivity that we are, you know what I'm saying? But like the brother said, the brother went into that on his story. So, so anyway, we go upstairs or whatever, and I say, you sure you want to do this? And she was like, yeah, with a little smirk on her face and stuff like that, right? And so we go to the book of Tobit, we read Tobit, and we read today, you know what I'm saying? I'm not taking you as for lust, but as my sister, and that the Most High God ordained this so that, you know what I'm saying, we'll have long age together and stuff like that. Then we went into a prayer, and then we laid down together, you know what I'm saying?
At what time did this happen?
I don't know. It was late at night. I don't know. But how'd it go over my head?
Nah, he was saying you might as well when he told me you might as well get it time. Everything too.
Right.
Get it time.
I catch everything, bro.
No, bro. I told her earlier, I was like, you going into detail about what y'all did before and after y'all laid down. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but that's righteous advice though, because brothers and sisters might have questions about what did y'all do, like when y'all finally actually, you know,
right.
Knock the boots. You know what I'm
saying? My bad. But yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then we laid down. Then after that, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I was having a lot of thoughts in my head. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, that'll happen, men. You know what I'm saying? You'll have a lot of thoughts in your head, especially if you're like me and Yeshaya, where we're just led through the spirit to our wonderful women, our wonderful wives, because like I hadn't known her but a few months, you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, that's always a tricky situation. So fasting, prayer is a must. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of thoughts was going through my head. Much like a lot of thoughts was going through my head when we found out we were pregnant, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of thoughts was going through my head, and I was like, man, I want to be decent and in order. Is she really the one? Is she gonna blah, blah, blah? So then after that, I was seeking like the approval of, you know what I'm saying, people that was in the truth regarding my family, my friends and stuff like that. But just, you know what I'm saying, to say, don't get cold feet, bro. Azrael, don't get cold feet. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, that only lasted for probably like 2 days, and then after that, I was stuck in there, stuck like Chuck. You know what I'm saying? And I had built myself up in the scriptures, and you know what I'm saying. That's how me and her got together. So you know what I'm saying. After that, definitely had a conversation with her mom. Definitely had a conversation with her dad. Long story short, she couldn't hold water. She told her mom, and her dad. Well, her dad found out a separate way, but she told her mom, and she was like, "I don't think it's fair that you get to tell your parents." And I said, "We went over this in the car. We went over this in the car."
Kenny, for the record, I was saying the same thing, bro. I was saying the same thing behind closed doors. I was saying the same thing. I was on your side. In-law love.
Hey, look, check this out though. Hey, brother Azrael low-key kind of set me up too through the spirit, you know what I'm saying, for the okie doke, because we leaving, like we said, hey, it's true story though. I had only known this brother, mind you, we went to the same college. I had never known these brothers, you know what I'm saying? They was, acting like dogs on leashes, you know what I'm saying, walking around with fleas, scratching themselves, barking, Hey, I had literally met this brother 2 days prior. We had only known each other for like 2 days, bro. And I'm sitting up here. We going to my rib. We at my rib grandmother's spot because my rib was holding her grandmother's spot down while her grandmother was away. So we going to my rib grandmother's spot, and pretty much I'm like, oh, bet he's staying over here. He like, actually, he like, actually, he sit up here like, actually.
Hey, look, it was a whole house. I was trying to be discreet about it, bro, because I remember a lot of us was staying there that weekend, bro, and I was just like, man, I ain't trying to have everybody up in my business, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, brother.
I remember Taylor came up to the room and I was packing my stuff, and she was like, "Are you going to stay with so and so, so and so?" And I was like, "What does that matter to you, bro?" She said, "I know you going over there," and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, bro."
Con, who is Taylor?
I don't know, bro. It's some girl.
Hey, look, though.
Yeah, Con.
Hey, look though, bro. Keep in mind, right? The brothers, right? Both of them, I commend them. They got quick marriages, you know what I'm saying? And they both got married.
No, not a Q.
She missed that. She missed that video. Hey, go back and watch the.
We got a 3-part series, Hellenized Hebrews.
Right, about Greek life. You know what I'm saying? You might find out some things about the brothers, what we was doing back in our folly days. But these brothers right here, they got married around the same time, man. And I remember one night in particular, we went and we had camp in Atlanta, right? And me and my rib, we had got married before these guys, right? And so, we was the OGs, but we had to go drop somebody off, and we got these brothers in charge and their ribs in charge of finding a place to eat, right? Lo and behold, we come back and we're eating at a Satanist bar, right? It was called like some type of tavern. We walk in, this dead skulls. I kid you not. We have our waitress is a practicing witch, and she's a Satanist. She got Satanist tattoos all over her and everything. We sit down, like, what the heck going on, bro? Right? And I was
we had picked a pizza place, but the pizza place was filthy, and I think they were closing.
It was the only place that was open at night like that, right? You know what I'm saying? And we didn't even notice it was a witch's den until after we got our food, for real. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I just, I said I was gonna upload an archived picture, man. So I gotta upload this, man. This is the brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
these are the brothers. Ow. These are the brothers in their ribs, man. When they first got married, you know what I'm saying? We all went out to eat, bro, and they happy. Look how happy they was, bro. They so happy they look 4 years younger. Look at that.
That's before. That is before we all got married.
Man, look at that, man. Happy, and it's crazy because we all still, happy. It's crazy, man, because we going through these stories, man. And I remember when some of these discussions that we're talking about, they were kind of heated. You know what I'm saying? Now we can all look back and we can get the edification and wisdom from these things, man. We can share it amongst our brothers and sisters, right? I did have one question, right? There's a question that says, now if a brother is going to ask for her father's hand, for her hand to her father, what should she say, right?
That's that Passover. That's that Passover I was talking about.
Con, the brother got the same shirt on.
Yes, I am large, but hey, I'm still in charge, so remember that.
That's the brother getting anointed at that Passover. Shout out to the brother Mikael too in Malcut Ministries.
Look, mighty brother, mighty beard, right? You know what I'm saying? But there is a question going around, and that is, what do I say to her father, right? What's the, and one. I've listened to one response or one approach, man, that I think beats everything. You know, I didn't get a chance to use it, you know, but because I learned about it after I got in the truth, and it actually comes from brother Lawyer from GOCC, man.
Hey, most I will, you can do it with your next wife.
Right.
This guy.
What old girl texting you today too?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, but no, bro. But brother lawyer from GOCC. I know people have their wits about GOCC, you know, but the brother did say a good point, man. He made a good approach, man, in this situation. He said something along the lines of, "Yes, sir, I really love your daughter, and I want you." He said something along the lines of, "I want to be with her for the rest of my life, and I can see myself walking into the kingdom of God holding her hand," right? And I thought that was pretty mighty. You know what I'm saying? You say that to anybody's father, you know, hey, look, take my wife. I mean, take my daughter, man. You know, so be smart about it, right? You know, and make sure everything is scriptural, right? And make sure you're doing everything that you can to be decent and in order, right? Brothers, we told you guys our woes, you know what I'm saying, and you guys might have some woes too, but it's all for building purposes.
Hey, so with that being said, man, I want to say that all praise for the Most High, all praises to the Most High, just for the things that He's done. You know what I'm saying? Just in our lives, you know. Hey, brothers be hitting the "what's good with your daughter?" Can I get that?
Dang,
Hey,
there's a Taylor in the comments, bro. That's kind of
oh, that's a Taylor Wet Wine. Hey, Shalom, sister. Hey, hey, you married? Because if not, hey, hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
Change that last name.
Yeah, I changed your last name, shout it straight up. You feel me? But nah, hey, I just like I said, I want to give our praise to the Most High, man. Just sharing our personal experiences. Most High willing, you know, y'all can learn from some of the things that we did. You know, hey, y'all see us up here, man. We try to have fun, and this ain't no facade, man. That's who we are, man. We try to be honest and authentic with these scriptures, man. We try to have fun with people. Most High willing, man. It's just that.
And also, Most High, all praises to the Most High for everybody that came in fellowship. Because, like we said earlier, y'all could be doing anything. You know what I'm saying? On a summer Friday night, but y'all getting edified, y'all fellowshipping with the brethren. You know what I'm saying? People that's gonna watch the video, people that's watching other brothers' videos.
Hey man, it's midnight Eastern time.
So like you know what I'm saying? The
yeah. Hey, I can't. She said, letting them know that's your wife. Nah, I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got.
Let them know that's your wife.
This brother is trying to acquire another wife. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know who this Taylor Redwine sister is, but she looking kind of good in the picture. So, hey, DM me. You know what I'm saying? My IG information is in the comments somewhere. But
hey man, wrap it up, man. Let go. It's 2 hours and 42 minutes at this point.
And y'all gotta be here early, bro, for that.
Hey, we can talk about this afterward, bro.
With that being said, I want to say Shabbat Shalom. Thanks everybody for joining. We're the brothers from the Hopeful Elect, and we
Hey, look. Further information, man. We're gonna be downtown Atlanta tomorrow, giving alms if you want to participate. Downtown Atlanta, right?
At
10 o'clock a.m.
10 a.m.
Downtown Atlanta.
So with that, hey, Shalom. We yield our time. We hope everybody has a peaceful, restful Sabbath. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.